Welcome to the Balls Talk Sports NFL podcast. I'm Elson Gratz, that's Victor Ratliff, and today, draft season comes early.
Let's go, baby!
We're bringing you the inaugural Balls Talk Sports mock draft for the 2026 cycle. Victor, on a scale of 10 to 10, how stoked are you?
12!
Let's go!
It's going one up from the last time because this is the second time we've recorded this.
We love our recording studio. Our recording studio is great.
There are no issues with this recording studio. There's also no issues with the fact that we're doing a mock draft.
We're still going.
We're still going, thank goodness. There's also no issues with the fact that we're doing a mock draft recorded on my computer, which means I don't have my computer for the mock draft. So I'm doing it old school. I got all my players here. I got the 32 teams. I'm excited. It's good to have draft season back. We were away for 2 months? Couldn't stand it any second longer.
That was way too long.
Yeah, had to get right back on it.
You know, sometimes you just gotta scratch that college tape itch. So you're watching NFL tape, you're making your weekly picks, and it's just like, I'm gonna watch a day 2, day 3 prospect for the hell of it. It's gonna take me 2 hours, but I want to get back into it. I'm in the mood.
Worth it. Absolutely worth it.
That's why this week was absolutely awesome. Got to watch a whole bunch of the top prospects that we didn't get to over the summer for the first time. Had a blast, and now we're ready for the mock draft.
Yep, we're going to get to talk about really the top prospects overall and talk about them together, which is something we didn't really get to do over summer scouting because we didn't get to a lot of it. We didn't get to quarterbacks. We didn't get to receivers. We didn't get to corners. You know, we got to safeties, interior offensive linemen, linebackers, and running backs and tackles. So that just shows you what kind of channel we run over here.
There's something wrong with us.
None of the big ticket positions except for running back we got to. And running back was the last one. We started with safeties and linebackers. We might change it next year, though we might not. It was fun, but it's going to be nice to talk about it today. Now, we haven't obviously done full evals on all of these guys, so this is not going to be like a super in-depth talking about these guys show. It's going to be a little bit like we'll talk about these guys. Of course, we've seen them play just on the broadcast. We've watched tape on some of them. We've obviously been watching a lot of tape over the past couple of weeks to prepare for this episode, but we haven't done full evals, except I haven't done any full evals of anybody I didn't watch over the summer. Just haven't watched enough out of them yet. Don't have the context of their season. You know what I mean? But we've still seen them. We're going to be talking about half from the lens of the player, but a lot from the lens of the team drafted him because it is still, we want you guys who your NFL's team struggling, we want you to have something to look forward to. So the Balls Talks midseason mock is here for you. Tennessee, New Orleans, New York, Cleveland, New York, Here it is, right? This is the one time we'll talk about your team in a positive light. You get to pick a good player. This is the
reason for you to continue to be a sports fan.
Yes.
Is this episode of BTS.
Absolutely.
All right, are we ready to get into the mock draft?
Let's do it. Number 1 pick. So we did flip for who goes number 1 and number 2, and it was a very confusing process.
I made it unbelievable.
We won't subject you to it, but through manners which the league office has determined as suspect, Elson has ended up with the number 1 pick. And I'll let you go off. Who's your number 1?
Okay, so in the last mock draft, I made a unique number 1 overall pick.
We got through about 4 picks before the recording shut off, so hopefully it doesn't this time.
Victor, I'm a coward.
No.
I am going to change it. I know this is lame. It was a wide receiver who for now shall not be named, but I will say is not going to be named much longer after this as long as I'm the one making half the picks. Instead, for the Tennessee Titans, I am going to take Ruben Bain, the edge rusher out of Miami. An extremely disruptive presence. He's dealt with some health issues that held him back a little bit in seasons past. This year, he is fully healthy, and even if he's not, let's say, a premier sack monster, because I think he has decent sack numbers this year, his game is just raw power and disruption, and you feel it in both phases. He manhandles offensive tackles. I do think that he has enough skill and technique as well as the traits to get after the quarterback in year 1, but if he hits his ceiling in the league, he will be a top 5 or so edge rusher and just a dominant takeover type of force. The Titans have been hurting for pass rush for, frankly, quite a while now. I don't think that's ever been more clear than as we watch them.
Just no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure and give up 25, 30 points to any offense that isn't the Houston Texans every week. And even if Ruben Bain doesn't fix all those problems in year 1, he's going to be a contributor, and down the road, look out.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? You didn't get a wide receiver with your number 1 pick. It happens. You can always get it with your number 2 pick. Elijah Surratt might still be there. So, no, I love Ruben Bain. He was my number 2 overall player this summer. right behind an Ohio State safety who shall remain nameless. He's a fantastic player. Like you said, just raw power, unstoppably dominant. And it still feels like, as good as he's been, there's another level there. The athleticism is really unbelievable for a guy that big. It's just a guy that, man, there are some weaknesses. He's also a dominant run defender. There's some weaknesses to his game, but it's like, yeah, somebody will bring up those weaknesses, and then there's just like a million clips you have of Ruben Bain just tossing around a 340-pound man. You're like, well, yeah, I guess, but sometimes the evaluation is just that simple. Ruben Bain is just clearly better than the guys he's playing against. I think Bain, just a fantastic player, clearly a top 5 pick at the very least.
All right, and now your pick with the Saints at number 2 overall.
So in the first mock, I did pick Ruben Bain because he was still available. So now I got to make a new pick. Yeah, so Saints, we were talking about. Really, I feel like the offense. I don't think I'm going to take a quarterback here because the offense has been run decently. I like what Kellen Moore's done with that offense. The offensive line looks good. I'll probably also steer clear of offensive line. You got 2 tackles, and I'm not taking an interior lineman at 2 for obvious reasons. There's no receiver I want enough at number 2. If I were to take an offensive player, it would be a quarterback. I think Shuck has given us enough to the point where we're like, all right. Maybe at the end of the season we'll think of it differently, but right now I don't think I'm going to pick I don't think I'm going to just pick a quarterback because we haven't seen enough from Shuck to really say, no, this number 40 overall pick, we've seen 3 games, it's enough to move on from him. I don't think we can do that, especially because those 3 games haven't been bad, right? They haven't been bad at all. There's also if there was a slam dunk quarterback available, I'd take him. If there was a superstar, if Cam Ward was here, I think I might take Cam Ward from last year's draft. But I don't think there is a Cam Ward in this class, so I'm going to steer clear, and I'm going to go to the defensive side of the ball. It's tough. This could be a Caleb Downs spot. I don't think it is. Instead, I'm going to go with probably the biggest riser out of this season from the college football world. I don't think anybody expected Sonny Styles to be dethroned as the number 1 Ohio State running back. Arvell Reese thought differently. He's going to be the number 2 pick in the NFL draft going to New Orleans. Oh, man, I don't know if there's a more fun player to watch right now than Arvell Reese. He is just all over the field. Like, everywhere you look, there's number 8, just making things happen. Like, if you don't know him, linebacker and an edge rusher. And he's probably a first-round prospect at both. But he can do both. Like, it's unbelievable. He's got absurd athleticism for an edge rusher. He's like 6'4", 245, good frame, incredibly strong at the point of attack. Like, his highlights are just literally him tossing Big Ten linemen around, just hitting them in the chest with violent hands and throwing them backwards. Like, and when we talk about previous hybrids, like Jalen Walker of last year's draft, he was an edge rusher and a linebacker. It's not the same sport. Like, it is, but like it's not the same type of thing. Arvell Reese is better as an edge than Walker was. He's better as a linebacker than Walker was. He's a better athlete than Walker was. Reese is truly incredible. I loved him so much. I watched 3 games of him. I don't think I've done enough to do a full eval on him because I want to see how the season finishes. He's going to play in a lot of big games before all is said and done, but he's a fantastic player. New Orleans needs defense, and this is the kind of player that if everything goes right, because there are still weaknesses to his game, he needs to improve on some things, right? He hasn't played he's played some snaps, but he hasn't started for as long as you'd love for like the number 2 pick. But still, the tools are all there. Ridiculous athlete. Nobody wants it more than him. I love Arvell Reese as the number 2 overall player.
Here's my question for you. Are you viewing him primarily as a linebacker, as an edge, or on early downs he's a linebacker and then you kick him outside to get after the QB?
I honestly don't know yet. That's part of the eval why I think it'll take longer with him. Is just I'm picking him because I think he's a good football player right now. I just think like you can put him at edge, you can put him at linebacker, you can put him at linebacker at edge on early downs, switch him to linebacker on late downs, or vice versa. Even like you can do whatever you want with him, or it would be vice versa. Edge on early downs, linebacker on third downs. Honestly, you could do either. He's that versatile. Like I'm thinking like which one would be better? No. He's a fantastic run-defending linebacker. He's a fantastic run-defending edge. Probably a better run-defending linebacker, so you switch him to edge on third down. But still, I'm viewing him through the lens of I think that this is potentially, now I don't want to get too ahead of my skis here, Still a whole season, half a season left of football to be played. More for Ohio State. This could be Micah Parsons level player, a guy who could do both. He'll probably primarily play edge because that's the more valuable position. But if you played Micah Parsons half at linebacker, half at edge, he'd be one of the best linebackers in the league right now. Pure linebackers, because that's what he was at Penn State. He played a similar role to Arvell Reese, maybe a little bit more edge, if I remember correctly. But he's that dominant. He's that good of an athlete, and he's that much just power, speed, whatever it is, whatever you ask of him, he can do it. He's that good. He could become Micah Parsons. Funnily enough, we were talking about this over the offseason. Like, what does Dallas think? They can find a Micah Parsons level player in the draft?
Of course not.
Well, one might be there. I'm not saying that one is there. One might be there. Not going to make it to Dallas, though.
His skill set is like something you'd see in Backyard Football 98, where he's got five out of 5 footballs worth of speed, 5 out of 5 footballs worth of pass rushing, 4 out of 5 in tackling, 4 out of 5 in coverage, 4 out of 5 in diagnostics. I mean, he's probably like a 3 out of 5 in running, a 3 out of 5 in catching. We'll see. Play him on offense as a tight end just to see if he can do that.
Why not?
What surprised me beyond just the obscene point of attack strength for a player who doesn't look absolutely huge initially on tape, which is because he's got so much muscle, so those players tend to look a little bit smaller at first glance, is just what a good linebacker he is. I mean, you see these hybrid linebacker edge college prospects, like you brought up Jalen Walker from last year, and they're good athletes and they're tough and they're good leaders, and as linebackers they don't cover anybody and they have no idea what they're looking at in the run game. And he does. He actually gets his head around and covers people. I don't think his run diagnostics are perfect, but he's not overly reactive and just running and chasing, biting on counter. Like, yeah, he's going to bite a little too hard on play action every once in a while. He's got to get a little bit more depth if he's going to be an elite cover linebacker in the NFL, but he has a super high ceiling throughout a whole variety of roles. Just a dynamic defensive weapon, and I understand taking him so early.
Yeah, and even if you want to play him just as a traditional edge and a 3-4 front, that edge covers a lot right now. The way that the NFL is right now, diversifying blitz packages with the heavy focus on the quarterback does not know what you're throwing at him, the edge has to drop back into coverage a lot. And when you have an edge that can do that, you do it even more. So with Reese, you could see a Van Ginkel split, 67% rush, 33% coverage. And that's something that he could easily do. But he's also just fantastic from the starting at the linebacker position, so you'd want him there. He's just, honestly, one of the worst parts about drafting Arvell Reese is that you have to figure out where to put him. He can only play one position. You know, he can only be in one place at once, right? That's the worst part about Travis Hunter as well, but it's a different thing because Travis Hunter can play wide receiver and corner. Arvell Reese, you can't make 2 of them. You know, that would be cool, but you can't. Either way, no matter what, I think whoever gets him is going to be happy, even if he doesn't turn into Micah Parsons.
All right, next up I've got the New York Giants. They've struggled at times on both sides of the ball this season. I think the defense has been really disappointing. Maybe more of a play calling and talent utilization issue. They've got some dudes on the defense. They've got some young dudes on the defense who are playing well for them. So instead I'm looking at the offense. It's not quarterback. Jackson Dart hasn't been perfect by any means, but he's shown you some really impressive arm talent, some really nice moments of pocket presence. If he can take a big, maybe Drake May, and obviously that's like a high comp, but a Drake May caliber step up in year 2, I mean, there's no doubt that that's going to be your franchise quarterback. But you got to give him some help. And that's why I'm going to grab Spencer Fano, the offensive tackle out of Utah. Whether you're playing him at tackle and replacing Jermaine Illuminor, or whether you're plugging him in at guard, where they have a variety of vacancies along the interior offensive line, he is just going to make life easier on you. For one, because he's a good pass protector. This year at Utah, hasn't given up a sack, has not given up a hit. 0.9% pressure rate allowed is elite. He may not be perfect in that phase. He has some technical things to clean up. He has some length limitations, which is why some people are pigeonholing him as a guard. I don't think he has to play guard. I think he can survive at tackle. He's going to help you out in pass pro. But as a run blocker, this is just a weapon. You get him on the move. You get him blocking on combos and climbing to the second level. It doesn't matter. He is that rare presence where you are going to feel him every down. Obviously, very different players, even different stylistic run blockers. But I think of the Lions with Penei Sewell, where it's like you watch the Lions running the ball, and you notice the way that they use Penei Sewell. I think that the Giants have some nice assets in the run game. They've really leaned into Jackson Dart at times this year. Cam Scadaboo, he'll be coming back at some point next season as well. really going to help build out the run game. And when this Giants team has been able to get downhill on you, that's been the best version of them. They did that against the Packers today with Tyrone Tracy and a pretty beat-up offensive line. They almost won that game with Jameis Winston. If you can run the ball, New York is going to have a solid football team next year, and I just got to pick my guy Spencer Fano here. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite player in the draft.
He's a stud. I'm still so disappointed that episode. We recorded the offensive tackles episode over the summer. It didn't come out because the footage got corrupted. So
that was tragic. That
Tragic.
was such a fun episode.
it was the best episode of the summer. We both had fun on number one. He is an absolute stud, and New York is missing him on the offensive line, and it's great. You know, Evan Neal, unfortunately, out for the rest of the season. It looks like that experiment has ended. He will go somewhere else in the offseason. So replace him with another another first-round tackle. See if that goes well, and I think it will with Fano.
but one who's good.
Yes. Well, you know what, Neal, he was pretty good coming into the draft too, but you never know, right? People build Evan Neal as like, oh, this fantastic tackle prospect you just can't miss. The NFL's a very difficult place to play. Football is a difficult sport to play when you're playing with the best. Anybody can be billed as a can't miss guy can miss, and anybody can be billed as an incredibly low ceiling player and then become one of the best in the world. That is the beauty of it. That's what we love about the draft. And I think I do think Fano's going to be good, to make it clear. All right. I'm up. Number 4, Cleveland, Fernando Mendoza. Got a solid roster in Cleveland. You know what? The season hasn't gone as exactly as you'd hoped, but what were you really hoping for? It's just not really a good team, and you're really missing one thing. You got a good team overall, like a solid one. You got Myles Garrett, best player in the world, probably. You got a couple of nice corners. You know, if Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah can come back healthy, which you know what, he might never see the field again, but you hope he can. Such a fantastic player when he's healthy. You got Swessinger playing fantastic. Mason Graham still a very high pick and played well earlier in the season. Kind of struggling right now, but this is a great defense. Offensively, a little bit lacking, but there are still pieces. I do think this would be a fine place to take a quarterback, even if I don't love a quarterback here, even if I don't love a quarterback at 4. I do think at some point Cleveland just has to take one. Nobody in this roster is stopping me from taking one. Dylan Gabriel, Shadur Sanders. Gabriel's clearly shown us he isn't the guy. Sanders played today. It wasn't great. Even if he played well today, I don't think that's enough to stop you. He's a 5th-round pick, and really just hasn't shown you enough. Same with Gabriel. He has shown you enough to know that is not the guy, right? So I'm going to take Fernando Mendoza out of Indiana here. My favorite guy out of the class, maybe the only guy that will actually be available. Moore and Simpson both have years remaining. They might return to school. Mendoza, big, tall, great arm, sticks in the pocket. Interesting player because he's sort of he's not Andrew Luck, but he's of the Andrew Luck mold, that kind of the big, tall guy who can throw the ball really far. Rather than the mobile guy, though he's not immobile. He can run.
Yeah.
But he does seem more like a previous generation's quarterback. But there are versions of him working in the league right now, right? Jared Goff is somewhat similar to him. We talked about it on this was the pick we got to. So after that, it's unpromised land. We have not picked anything after this. I made a sort of comparison to Jalen Hurts. He has a lot of similarities to Jalen Hurts. He's the kind of guy that I don't know if he's going to win you a bunch of games, but you can win a lot of games with him at the helm. You know, he's a guy who can run the offense. He's gotten better year after year in college. He's probably the best. He's the most pro-ready guy. Feel comfortable going through the reads. Really, the issue right now is can you deal with NFL pressure, and can that pocket presence improve from the mediocre part of it? But I feel like the pocket presence from Cal to Indiana has improved. I feel like the dealing with pressure has improved. Maybe it's the surroundings. Maybe it's not. The accuracy is clearly there. The arm is there. I think even though it's not elite, I think it's very good. I just think he's probably the guy I feel best about taking here. And if I'm Cleveland, I just don't want to leave without a quarterback if you're picking high.
I'm not the biggest Fernando Mendoza guy, but I do totally understand this. He's gotten better every season, which we talk about ceilings, but especially for quarterbacks, more so than any other position. Like ceiling schmealing, if you just get a little bit better every season, soon enough, you're a top 8 to 10 guy in the NFL. So obviously you're not going to write him off. I think he has the arm talent to do that. But I think he's really made strides this year at Indiana. sometimes it's hard to tell how much of it is the infrastructure at Cal was terrible and the infrastructure at Indiana is really good. They're able to run the ball on early downs. They're able to give him a lot of play action. I don't think the point of that Indiana offense is Fernando Mendoza, but it doesn't have to be. When they've had to play from behind, yeah, he's made a couple mistakes, but he's also made some big-time throws, kept Indiana in games. I mean, that's the reason that – are they the only undefeated team in college right now?
Ohio State and A&M still are
You're right.
undefeated.
You're right. Those two are still around. But they're the reason that, or he's part of the reason that Indiana is an undefeated team right now. He is a key cog in that offense. I think the processing has improved. I think the decision making has improved. I think the accuracy has improved. I think he's dialed in his mechanics a little bit more. His arm circle, I notice, isn't as big. It feels like his front half is staying stronger. He's staying locked onto his targets and just not spraying throws like we saw at times at California. His footwork has gotten better, so he's not, when he's climbing the pocket, not opening all the way up and sort of getting wide and out of control. Those bad negatives have in large part been eliminated from his game. And so, yeah, I do think he's the most pro-ready quarterback in the class. If you're Cleveland, how much more of this QB play can you watch? Yeah. Totally understandable.
Yeah, it's just bad. But to be clear, like, let's say, what's the next neediest QB needy team down the board? Actually, there's not too many.
It's not terrible.
Yeah, I mean, let's just pick if you're Miami, if you're Miami and you're on the market for a new quarterback next year, let's say Tua doesn't work out. I don't think you want Mendoza. That line is just not going to work for him, right? I think you want somebody like Dante Moore who can create or something like that with a great arm. So Mendoza is a guy that I feel like if you have a high enough pick and you have the place, you have the assets in place, you have a solid offensive line at least, or you're willing to invest in that. I don't think you can take Mendoza and have a bad infrastructure surrounding him. Cleveland is probably the worst infrastructure you can have and take Fernando Mendoza. So we're gonna take him and see how that goes. But I really want Mendoza to go to a place where there is an already established surroundings. I want every quarterback to do that, but especially Mendoza, because you're not going to get the most out of him unless you do that.
All right, with the 5th pick, I have the New York Jets. And as you maybe predicted, this is where I'm going to take my guy, my former number 1 overall, Carnell Tate, over everyone else. Dude is just an absolute stud. You might be thinking you're going to draft a wide receiver at number 5 to the team that has Garrett Wilson and took Mason Taylor really early and spent a stupidly high pick on Arian Smith. Yeah, I actually see a lot of similarities between Carnell Tate's game and Garrett Wilson's game. I think that they're both really fluid athletes and already pretty nuanced route runners. That's one thing I really liked about Tate. What really separates him from the rest of the pack, and I think that this is actually an underratedly nice wide receiver class, so this is saying a lot. I think Tate has generational hands. It's just, it doesn't matter where the ball is. If he can get fingertips on it, he is going to bring it in. Over the shoulder, doesn't matter. It's a hitch route. He has to fight back through the ball, doesn't matter. Middle of the field and he's going to get decked, doesn't matter. Middle of the field and it's behind him, up and away. He has to reel around to make that grab. Doesn't matter. Right on his face mask, he's going to make that catch every time. I think he has 1 dropout in the season in a super high volume role. He's at about a 1.5% drop rate. Yeah, maybe he'll make a couple focus mistakes as a rookie. Once you clean that up, you have just an automatic pair of hands. I think he's a good enough athlete to play him inside, play him outside, be one of those dynamic weapons that we are seeing more and more often around the NFL. JSN, Emeka Egbuka. I think he's on that level athletically, maybe even a little bit above. He's got the route snap. He's got everything I'm looking for. And look, I don't know who the Jets are going to play at QB next year, but I know that when they draft a guy, I want to give him a shot. I want him to have good wideouts, so that's sort of a looking forward perspective.
Nice. I mean, yeah, Tate is very good football player. He's of that classic OSU receiver mold. He's a great route runner, as you said. Fantastic hands. Just doesn't drop the football and makes every catch that he possibly can. Incredibly smart player. You know, there's just really not much that doesn't come with him when you draft him, right? I think my biggest issue was just kind of, can you be an outside receiver in the NFL with, you know, some struggles with dealing with contact on the outside, especially with outside releases. And you know what? Sometimes give up on some routes. But also it's like, it's hard to tell sometimes. Maybe that isn't like an effort thing. Maybe it's just, maybe there's something that we don't know. There's like, with that, I'm generally inclined to go like, unless it's like an actual problem, you know, where you're seeing him give up on a route and then he gets thrown the ball, I don't really care. So, Tate is a fantastic player. Really, as much as we say the draft is very volatile, one of the highest floors you can get. But as we start to see, he would typically be labeled as a medium ceiling kind of guy. But look who's dominating the NFL right now. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Puka Nacua, Emeka Egbuka, the rookie receiver even. It's not necessarily about that Calvin Johnson, Randy Moss, Julio Jones prototype anymore. The big, dominant X receiver who's going to go up there and grab the football while also being super athletic. All these guys are athletic, but it's kind of in a different way. They're quick. They're smooth. They make cool, quick, clean breaks. You know what I mean? They can play anywhere on the field. That athleticism allows them to go step for step with the shiftiest, with the fastest slot corner in the league, but it also allows them to evade and really that strength that they also have to deal with press coverage on the outside. Jackson Smith and Jigba has played a lot of outside receiver this year, and he has not missed a beat. He's playing incredibly this year because he is one of the best release packages out of a slot corner you'll ever see in the NFL. So there's really nothing stopping teams from going like, this guy that has a low ceiling, we can't take him that high. He's a mid-first round, late first round kind of guy. There's nothing stopping that team from taking them top 10 now because they've proven we can be game changers. And in ways that you didn't even think was possible, because in Puka Nacua's case, one of his biggest values is that he's practically a tight end. I'm sure you've heard people say this. I mean, nobody uses a receiver blocking more than Sean McVay uses Puka Nacua. He just comes in, whether it's insert or on the outside, he's a fantastic blocker. So make yourself useful, make yourself available to play anything and do anything on the field, and you are going to be a better football player for it, and Tate is a good example of that.
You don't even have to stop in those players. I mean, as far as NFL wideouts who are really, really good, well, just, being fast enough. Devontae Adams.
Yep.
Devontae Adams is not a burner. Justin Jefferson, I'd say, is more of a good athlete than a great to elite one. I mean, maybe that's a little strong. Justin Jefferson's
also a different
really
player,
good
yeah.
Yeah. The idea being, I think wide receiver, and I'm sure you'd probably agree with this, is maybe the most artistic position.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of know what I mean by that. Just watching how they play and the amount of different ways you can win, the amount of nuance that goes into getting open, doing all the little things right. That's why, like you said, I don't think you have to be the prototype in order to contribute a ton of value and justify a top 5 pick.
100%. All right, we're on to my pick, and it's Vegas, right?
Yep.
All right, we got Las Vegas. You know what? You look at the board now, and there's not a guy I'm just super psyched about here. If we're talking about Las Vegas, you're in the market for a quarterback, definitely. The Smith contract, it wasn't enough. Like, you can get out of that. So they definitely will try to get a new quarterback this year. I don't know if it's going to be in the draft, though. I don't think there's anybody I love for them, and I'm actually going to go defense here. I'm going to go with another guy who's risen quite a bit this season, one of my favorite players in the draft, and that's Mansour Delane out of LSU. It has been I'm a Broncos fan, and I am just sick and tired of seeing the Raiders have absolute jack shit in the secondary. And Mansour Delane is an incredible player. It hurts to take him over Caleb Downs, but at this point, corner is just that. It seems like NFL teams value corner that much more than safety. Caleb Downs will go soon, almost assuredly. I think Mansour Delane is that good, enough to make up the difference between him and Downs that let's go corner over safety. Vegas just needs a corner. Desperately they need a corner. And this isn't necessarily just drafting for fit. Delane's a fantastic player. I mean, I'm sure you've watched him, and he really just reminds me of Devin Witherspoon a few years ago. That guy that just, no matter what, hell or high water, he's going to be in your hip pocket everywhere. No athletic concerns whatsoever. He's a great athlete, can track with anybody deep, can track with them across the field, incredibly shifty. Whether it's like just backpedal, staying in front of the guy, or it's reacting, that snap after the route. Nobody better than Mansour Delane in college right now. So he plays the ball really well. He's pretty good in zone. I mean, he reads stuff really well. I want to see the consistency improve a little bit. And I want to see him become a better tackler. But, man, for a corner to take it number 6 overall, Mansour Delane checks a lot of the boxes. Also, am I pronouncing that right?
Yes, I
Nice.
believe so.
Let's go. So, yeah, Delane to the Raiders, and I don't like the pick.
I thought, really, I love the pick.
Well, no,
personally.
I love the pick. I just hate that I have to play against
Okay.
Mansour Delane for a decade or so.
I thought I might be on an island, like, Mansour Delane's going to be if the Raiders pick him with the number 6 overall spot, in thinking that he's a borderline top 5 caliber talent. I am that high on
Yep.
Delane. Like you said,
Awesome.
no athletic concerns. I think that his athletic traits, really, whether you're looking at top speed, drive acceleration, ability to chop the feet and then snap right back onto guys after breaks, I think all of those are plus to plus plus traits. And then as far as technique, this is a pretty solid cornerback class. I was pleasantly surprised. I think he outclasses just about everybody. He is super comfortable from trail. He's super physical, but he doesn't draw flags because he gets his head around.
Yep.
His hip discipline is outstanding. He works from the top down, so he's not losing vertically, and that's man and zone. If you're running a go route, he is going to stay over top of you. He's not going to get stacked, but if he's in a deep third, he's going to make sure that he is walling off that up and outside part of the field, and then he is working onto the post. He takes stuff away consistently without losing. And you mentioned you want to see his tackling get better. I think he's right around a 10% miss rate. That's really solid for a cornerback, and I think that's an average to above average trait for him. I think he's a willing run defender. I got no concerns. I really like this pick for Las Vegas.
Yeah, no, he's going to be real good in the league. And I'm surprised I'm not. I think he has come up considerably, but top 10 talks. Like, let's get him there. He deserves to be there. And Vegas, just get somebody. Get somebody in the secondary. Downs would also be a fantastic pick here. I was torn. Went with the corner.
All right, next up, I've got the Miami Dolphins. And, man, I feel like this is pretty clear. You got to take an offensive lineman. Now, what offensive lineman you take is going to be a little less clear. I'm going to stick with one of my guys from the summer where the buzz has cooled off a little bit, but I am going to grab Francis Mauigoa, the offensive tackle out of Miami. I know some people are calling him a guard. I don't really see why. I didn't understand that when people were talking about it over the summer. I don't understand it now. I don't see any length limitations on tape, and what is he listed at? 6'5", 6'6"? Like, he is a perfectly tall offensive tackle. He's powerful. He doesn't have any foot speed limitations. He's an excellent size-adjusted athlete.
Absolutely.
I think he could play guard. I think he could kill people at
He's
guard.
an awesome guard.
But I also think that he can be your franchise offensive tackle. Miami looking for a lot of answers all along the offensive line. I know that Patrick Paul has been pretty solid for them this season. Who's their other offensive tackle right now?
Is it still Austin Jackson?
Yeah, I think it very well may be.
Ooh, upgrade.
And then on the interior, Jonas Savainea. Really, really bad year one. You're not giving up. You want
There's
to
always
back
year
up plan.
two.
Yeah. You want to fill that in, and that'll open up the offense a little bit. I mean, I really do like Mike McDaniel as an offensive mind. I think he's doing his damnedest to scheme around this offensive line. Maybe you can get back to generating consistent explosives, putting up 27, 28, etc. points a game by filling in that offensive line a little bit, and I like the value behind Francis Mauigoa. That is what I want to drive home. I don't think that this is some reach because you need an offensive lineman. I think that this is just a really solid value for a really solid offensive tackle prospect.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. He's a tackle, not a guard. I mean, and it's not even the fact that, oh, yeah, you try him at tackle, then you move to guard. Of course you do. That is with every tackle. I'm really I think he can be just as good of a tackle as he can be a guard. Like, when we were talking about a guy like Talisi Fuanga coming out, it's like, try him at tackle. He could be like a solid tackle, but if that doesn't work, then he can be like an all-pro guard. No, I think be a great tackle and he'd be a great guard. So Mauigoa, as you covered him very well, there's really not many issues with his game. The consistency with his hands you'd like to see improve, and some of the consistency in the run game as well. But just a great player, and you love to see Miami to Miami. It's a nice little connection. What I'm most curious about for this pick is who's making this pick. Is it a Mike McDaniel-led Dolphins team, or is it somebody else? Is it a Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback Dolphins team, or is it somebody else? That will really determine. They might be Mauigoa either way, but it will determine the fit of this pick and really the philosophy. Because if it's a new team, if it's a new guy coming in, and they take tackle over quarterback. They're probably still stuck with Tagovailoa because of his contract, but I love that. Start with the trenches, something Miami has lacked for a really long time, at least offensively. Go out there and get Mauigoa. He's a fantastic player.
I know we're running just a little bit long on these picks, but real quick. Right now, are you sticking with Mike McDaniel?
No. I do think he could be a good head coach again. It's just I'm not. Like, it's not working in Miami. Maybe it's not his fault. Maybe it's Tua's fault. I just think you need a clean break. And maybe you do have Tua for another year, But I think if you do keep Tua, it's going to be like a Sean Payton, Russell Wilson situation where it's clearly not his guy, but you're going to make it work for a year. You're going to try at least. And then people will be like, oh my goodness, how did he get as much out of Tua as he did? So you just can't keep running with this Mike McDaniel team. It seems like they've lost the locker room. I'm surprised they didn't fire him when they fired Greer. But especially since you're bringing in a new general manager, you can't keep running with McDaniel. Maybe if you're like all right, we're going to give him one more year, then we'll fire. But I don't think that's going to happen. They'll probably go with a new head coach. I think the question is whether they find a way around the Tagovailoa contract or not.
I think Miami has shown some fight and has shown some willingness to play for him.
Today wasn't good.
And I also like him. Yeah, you're right. That was a bad game. I like him as an offensive mind. I'm still firing him just because of how much I hate midseason coach firings, where you go in with the attitude of, all right, we're going to see how this plays out. Spoiler alert, it plays out almost every time with you firing your head coach midseason and just scrapping that entire year. I hate it, and I think it should be avoided, even if it means making pretty tough decisions.
It's really bad. There have been very few midseason head coach firings where I was like, yeah, he should be out of there. One of them being Nathaniel Hackett, which was a first-year midseason head coach firing. Just atrocious. But yeah, I think definitely get rid of him. One thing I will say, though, whoever gets Mike McDaniel as their offensive coordinator is a very, very, very lucky team. Very.
Absolutely.
It's like getting Saleh as your defensive coordinator after he got fired by the Jets. And look how the Niners are doing. All right, we're on to my pick. I don't think we expected Washington to be picking this high preseason.
No, just everything that could go wrong has gone wrong for them. Jaden Daniels having a little bit of performance regression, but also just getting banged up, which is what we feared for him coming out of LSU, and then Terry McLaurin out of the lineup as well. You've hit just red lights on the defense. Nothing has gone right for you in that phase, and that's how we wind up with the Commanders. High expectations coming in, picking at number 8.
I already have the pick penciled in. It's Caleb Downs. This is a team that just needs more talent on the roster. Most talented player in college football is available at number 8. You sprint the pick to the podium, I think. They're relatively weak at safety. Quan Martin looks perfectly solid, but probably not your number one. I honestly forget who else they've got playing safety for him.
Jeremy Reeves, who has been
he's
hyper-aggressive. He's played defense like a special
also playing
teamer.
Some corner,
which is what I'll say.
They've been rotating him down a lot as well. So, he's been interesting. Caleb Downs is a fantastic player, a guy who you rarely have that thing where it's like, yeah, this guy's going to be a franchise player for us, and you kind of just know that. Washington's in a great position to make this work. You got Dan Quinn. I love Dan Quinn as a defensive coordinator, defensive mind. I think you'll be able to get the most out of Downs. This will help you get pressure. This will help you be a better coverage team. This will help you completely on defense. Offense, the issue right now isn't talent, it's health. Defense, the issue is talent. You take Caleb Downs. Really not many there's no black marks on his game. Really not many red marks on his game at all either. He's a super athlete, fantastic coverage player, fantastic run defender, one of the best players when it comes to playing the ball I think I've ever seen. I really just I'm just ecstatic I get this at 8 if I'm Washington.
I mean, what's not to like about this pick? I've consistently been lower on Caleb Downs than most people, both from a slightly an evaluational perspective, just saying that his game has some areas for improvement, and from a positional value perspective, I don't care. I think this is outstanding value. I think it fills a need. This is a great pick for Washington.
Yeah.
Next up, I have the Bengals. I'm obviously drafting defense.
Obviously.
Look, they need some help along the offensive line. If you've watched a Bengals game recently, you know the problem is the defense. You could probably go any position here. I wouldn't opt to go linebacker, obviously, after you invested capital in Demetrius Knight and Barrett Carter.
They're both looking solid as well.
Yeah, they've had their struggles at times, but hey, that's not the fundamental issue. The question is, do I go with a defensive lineman? Because they've gotten no pressure so far this season. Shamar Stewart he was out last game. I don't think they've placed him on IR. Trey Hendrickson has been banged up, and he's getting older as well. So
doubt he's on the team next year.
Yeah, you need to rejuvenate on the defensive line, almost assuredly. You're also pretty rough in the secondary.
It's just pain. Pain everywhere.
Pain everywhere indeed. Now, Caleb Downs is gone. I certainly would have considered that. And I'm staring down a bunch of edge rushers that I have very similar grades on. Do I want to go with Keldrick Falk? Do I want to go with TJ Parker, who's had a little bit of a down season?
I got a guy circled. It's not an edge rusher.
Is it Peter Woods?
No.
Is it Jermon McCoy?
I was just saying, man, that would be a nice pick.
That would be a nice pick.
What's your pick?
I will consult their depth chart
McCoy's
one more
weird, though,
time.
because he hasn't played this year due to a torn ACL.
Yeah,
so
but
I'm
we saw a
fascinated to
lot
see.
from him
Yeah, I
in
mean,
2024.
he was everybody's number one in summer, mine as well, for good reason. I'm fascinated to see how his eval will play out.
You know what? This is an obscenely deep edge class, just like last year. I mean,
Yeah.
that's absolutely insane. The depth of the edge position in back-to-back seasons. I'm going to go with Jermon McCoy. He hasn't played so far this year. I think we're probably going to see him at some point for Tennessee. You know, it's a college injury, so they're going to be ambiguous about it. We saw enough from him in 2020 and 2024. Not a perfect prospect. You don't expect him to be a perfect prospect as a sophomore. Super physical and sticky in coverage, exceptional ball skills, all the athleticism that you're looking for. He's a reasonably tall corner. I think he's around 5'11 and a half, but it feels like he has a low center of gravity where when receivers snap off their routes, you're not worried about him flying past. He's staying tight, he's staying controlled, and he's quickly snapping down that space. He contributes as a run defender. He's good in zone. I mean, if there's one thing you want to see him clean up, fewer penalties.
Yeah.
He's super aggressive. He will bully you through the stem. One thing I love is if you're running an inbreaker, he's going to hug that outside shoulder initially so that you can't beat him and stack him up the sideline. When you make that cut, he is slamming down through your body to try and get in front of that throwing lane. And yeah, you're going to wind up with a few penalties. It's going to be worth it just because of how little you're getting beat. And if the Bengals need one thing, well, pass rush would help. But defensive backs that get beat less is way up there. He's going to be healthy for year one. He's going to go through the full rookie minicamp. He's going to be up to speed. It's not going to be a Shamar Stewart situation as long as they agree to pay him. I like this pick for Cincy.
Also, absolutely. And also, you just need guys who can play press coverage. They don't have that right now. And Al Golden, I've been rather, for what he's working with, I really don't think it's his fault the defense is this bad. I think he'd use Jermon McCoy incredibly well. Talked about him very well. Fantastic ball skills as well. Just gets his head around, finds the ball as good as anybody in this class. Really, the only concern you have with him, other than the penalties, is like you want a few more reps, obviously, because of the injury, but also like, can he bounce back? Because a big part of his game is that elite short area burst. Can he bounce back from that ACL tear? It's just going to come down to teams, their medicals, what they have on him. Do they think he can do that? If they don't, then he's probably going to be down in the 20s, similar to not similar, but because they're different things, similar, somewhat close to a Caleb Farley from a few years ago. Though Farley's medical concerns were much bigger, but something like that. But if he is cleared, he's going to go somewhere around here. He's incredible. All right, I'm up with Los Angeles at 10. The Los Angeles Rams are picking at 10 because. Why not? This is from the Atlanta trade. They traded their number 26 pick last year to Atlanta, who then for 42 and a first round this year, Atlanta selected James Pierce with this pick, which means the Rams get to pick 10 while they're having a great season, and they just beat Seattle today. Congrats to them. Great win for that team. How much longer is Matthew Stafford going to play? Is what I'm asking when I'm making this pick. Because I don't think it's much longer. He's alluded to it. He's playing the best ball of his career right now, but he might retire this year. I don't think he should. I don't think he will. But I can't imagine he's got more than a year or two left after this season.
Oh yeah, certainly agree with that. What is he, like 38?
Yeah. So with that, you've got a great roster. Why not invest in a quarterback right now? You have 2 first-round picks, so if you want to go out there and get a first-round caliber player, do it in the later rounds. You're not going to get a chance at a guy like Dante Moore any other year. I'm going to take Dante Moore out of Oregon. I wouldn't make this pick for any other team except for the Rams this high, but he's the perfect fit for what they're trying to do there. Moore is a guy who just hasn't had many high-quality reps yet. And the ones he's had have been in horrible situations. Apart from Oregon, this is the first year we've seen him in a good situation with the full belief of the coaching staff behind him, not in a dead year with like UCLA and all that. He's been really fun to watch. You know, that arm is probably one of the best arms in this class. It's just the angles in which he can use it. You talk about arm talent versus strength. He's really got the arm talent. He can make all the NFL throws, I feel like. Like, I just, he really kind of reminds me a little bit of, and this is going to sound weird because he's 6'5", and Russell Wilson is 5'11", but he's got a little bit shades of Russell Wilson to his game. You know, that guy who he's got some of the stuff you can't teach, that arm talent, that ability to a beautiful deep ball, that ability to step up in the pocket, feel the pressure where it is, almost just psychic level. Sometimes flashes of it, it's not perfect, but he still struggles under pressure, you know, and this is also sort of like somewhat later career Russell Wilson, because Moore isn't he's not the fastest guy, right? But he's glowing reports about him as a leader. When I look at him, he's an incredibly decisive quarterback, whether it's for good or for better or for worse. I really like Dante Moore, and I think the perfect guy to teach him is Matthew Stafford, a guy who's incredibly confident in his decisions, who's also a great leader who can bring that along further, but a guy, there's just not many guys in the history of the NFL who have looked death in the face and still thrown a perfect ball. Matthew Stafford has seen a lot of pressure in his years at Detroit. So Dante Moore couldn't ask for a better mentor if Stafford's willing. And he informs the team. He's like, yeah, I think I got maybe a year left. Then they're like, hey, you cool with us drafting Dante Moore? He sits under for a year. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's win one more Super Bowl and give Dante Moore the reins after that. I think this is the perfect way to set yourself up for success for the future, while also still bringing in talent because you have another first-round pick. Masterclass in managing allows you to make this pick.
Dante Moore is my QB1. He's not going to be a perfect year one player. I think he needs to develop his ability to see the field and anticipate and find answers for coverages later on in the down. But I think you've seen all the flashes from him that you need to see to take him this high. I think he's super instinctive. He clearly has a great grip on the playbook with how he can make pre-snap reads and attack coverages early on when things are decently well schemed out for him, which obviously Sean McVay is going to be able to do. He's a great ball handler. I think he shows flashes in the pocket, even if he can be a little bit consistent under pressure. There's just a ton to like there with Moore, and this is the perfect situation for him. It is the entirety of the surrounding situation. You get to learn under Matthew Stafford. You have an offense that obviously Sean McVay is going to be able to cater around you. You have a talented offensive line that has just played better and better. I mean, this Rams team, it's hard to think of a player who has played down this season.
I mean, the Rams could be making this pick in the top 10 coming off of a Super Bowl win. That's how well they're playing right now.
Rest of the league is screwed, especially because Dante Moore is going to have a 15-year NFL career and be a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Heard it here first.
This is going to be the new Favre Rodgers. Stafford to Moore. It was supposed to be Rodgers to Love, but we won't talk about that. Hey,
Love is a good QB.
Yeah, but he's not Rodgers.
He's not Rodgers. Mini tangent. Love's stat line hasn't been great recently.
No, it's not.
Love has been like 5% of the problem. And if you're 5% of the problem, are you really like any part of the problem at all? He's been a really good QB for us. The dropsies came back this week against the Giants on offense and on defense, but run game isn't there right now. Offensive line isn't there right now. Jordan Love is making some baller throws. Jordan Love is a great NFL quarterback, and I'm happy to stick by him for the future. No coping at all.
Yeah.
All right, next up, I've got the Arizona Cardinals, and I think they have a better roster than you would expect for a team picking at
100%.
number 11. They've had some really brutal losses this year. Kyler Murray goes to IR. Kyler Murray is a good NFL starting QB. I'm not sure he's a QB you win a Super Bowl with. He was not the problem in Arizona. I think he played solid this year, so there's nobody on my board that I'm even considering taking as a quarterback here to replace Kyler. Instead, I'm going to go with another one of my favorite overall players in the class, and that's another Ohio State linebacker. I am taking Sonny Styles here.
Nice.
He had like a 15% missed tackle rate per PFF last year, and I called bullshit on that. And so far this year, it's been rewarded because the missed tackle rate is way down. He has one thing I really look for in linebackers, which is that lower body twitch, the ability to keep guys centered up. So many missed tackles are caused not by like getting juked, not necessarily by bad anticipation, not by getting shouldered through, but just running back sets you up a little bit and then he plants one way and he burns your angle. You've got to dive. Now he's not in front of you anymore, and now he's running past you. You don't have to worry about that with Sonny Styles. It also helps that he just has really good wrap-up breakdown technique. And considering his size, he is just an absolute freak in terms of play strength. I think he can take on blocks and be a full-size backer. I also think he has really great coverage feel. The run diagnostics still have a ways to go. I think you can teach him up in that system. It also helps that the Cardinals linebackers aren't terrible. Like, this isn't some glaring need. So you have creative ways you can use him. You can use him as a will in 4-3 defenses, sort of as a big nickel at times because he's really good in man coverage. There's a ton you can do with Sonny Styles, and I think that versatile playmaker out near the perimeter is really where a lot of the value is in the NFL. That's maybe one of my big macro takes, is that from the will linebacker position to the slot corner, and so between those players would also be that classic apex big nickel. I think teams are criminally underrating how much that guy matters. We've seen the resurgence of 12 personnel.
Yep.
You don't have to counter with some big, thick Sam linebacker who can't cover if you have a big nickel. And I think that Sonny Styles, even if that's not literally his role, sort of embodies that. He's going to be super valuable, and I wanted to get him off the board early.
Yep, and it's another thing that style of play, another thing that is related to the draft. People are like, any outside corner who's small and can't deal with the physicality of NFL X's, they're just moving him to the slot, and they don't care if he can run defend. Your nickel has to run defend. It's not like they're the closest cornerback to the run game, similar to the big nickel, and the will linebacker. They're also part of that thing. PSA: do not move a guy in a nickel unless he can play the run. But yeah, I love Sonny Styles. He was your number one linebacker of the summer for good reason. Insane player, really such a unique athlete, incredibly good. No complaints there. If you're Arizona, you're just getting a really great player. You think Gannon's making the pick?
I'm gonna go with yes.
I think
for
so
now.
too.
Yeah,
I think so too. You give him another year. This has just been a weird year in Arizona, but I'm sick of it being a weird years in Arizona. It's weird year after weird year.
into infinity.
When does it stop? I don't know what has to happen. We'll see.
Move the team.
Maybe something needs to change. Speaking of weird years, we got Dallas up next. See where I want to go with this. Never mind. It's not a tough conversation. It's Peter Woods out of Clemson. Man, does this team need interior defensive line help? You got Osa, and Peter Woods is not an incredibly different player from Osa. He is. He's different, but he's not like the polar opposite. He is like a 305-pound interior defensive lineman, but he can play the run, I think, especially if you want to put more strength on him. Now, don't just go out there and like do the inverse of what you did with Mozzie Smith and be like, hey, let's have you drop 25 pounds or let's have you add 25 pounds. It's not that it's dropping the weight that works. It's changing the weight that drastically probably fucked with Mozzie Smith. Not necessarily. Now they're going to try it. Peter Woods, let's get you at 335. See you play at that. That's not the issue, Dallas. Let him play. Really instinctive pass rusher, and Dallas just needs more pass rush. If only there was, a pass rusher that they had that is like awesome and really athletic or something that could get pressure on the quarterback.
I don't know who that would be.
That would be cool to have. But the next best thing is Peter Woods. Very, very, very nice player. Can really play a lot of things. He's a very good athlete. Just when you watch him, it's just like this guy kind of understands. He's got a feel for the game better than most guys. Is he the best athlete in this class? He's a very good athlete, but he's not like a super athlete, even though he is a very good athlete. For the interior defensive line position, he's a very good athlete, but he's not super. He's not the strongest guy of all time, but there's just a way. When we talked about artistry with receivers, I think the second position that would come is pass rush, and Peter Woods just has that artistry with it. He's got that feel for it, and I think that matters more than most people think. Not necessarily moves, but the ability to influence defenders and get around them. Also, he's just got good power. That's also fun. I like him quite a bit. He's not like top 5 for me right now. I don't love what we've seen from overall the Clemson defense this year, but Peter Woods, still a good player. Take him top 12. Dallas is very happy with this pick.
Think about that interior defensive line room that they have now.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Osa, and now you've got Peter Woods. And if I'm not mistaken, you also have Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark.
I forgot they have Quinnen Williams. Damn it. All right, we're going to change the pick. I forgot they have Quinnen Williams.
Holy hell, though. What a defensive tackle
that would be awesome.
Room that would be.
Was okay, listen, forgive me. I actually might not change. You got to change the pick. You can't draft the best player available, but to what point? There's also better players available. You need edge rusher. Let's jeez. Between two guys, I want to make this quick. Just for the sake of it, let's go with the other Clemson guy. Let's go with TJ Parker. You definitely need more pass rush. Again, if only you had an elite pass rusher. Too bad they don't have that because they traded him away. But TJ Parker, really good player. A guy that's just going to come out there and you feel really good about him. Incredibly high floor. Very good technician. Incredible run defender. He's just that kind of player. The staunch, consistent piece missing from that Dallas defensive line. Yeah, Parker will just be a instant fill for Dallas to improve that run defense and to improve the pass rush.
Now I've got the Baltimore Ravens, and guess who I'm taking? I'm grabbing Peter Woods because we don't know if Nnamdi Madubuike is ever going to play
Baltimore
football
gets
again.
him. Oh man, that's so sad.
Just run back the entire conversation that we just had about him. But for the Baltimore Ravens, this is a team that needs some help on defense, although the offense was actually the problem today. They got a couple holes they need to fill, but interior defensive line is absolutely one of them. And I don't think Ravens fans are going to be complaining about this one.
Yeah. This is such a Baltimore pick. I just can't believe if he fell to him. All right, yeah, we just did talk. Anything more you want to say about Peter Woods?
I'm interested to do a full season tape review on him because he was one of my favorite players in the entirety of this draft class over the summer. Sure. I had tremendous expectations for him coming in. I think he's been underwhelming. Now, underwhelming by Peter Woods standards is still easily a first-round pick, but going to be interesting to try and suss out why that was and if he can take a big step up at the NFL level. Are you going to be a good defensive tackle or are you going to be an all-pro that's really out there winning for their team?
Yep. And
that's what's going to decide whether he's a first-rounder or whether he's a top 10 grade.
All right, on to Minnesota. Quarterbacks in the discussion, I think.
Yes. Now, if you watch J.J. McCarthy play, yes.
For me, quarterback's not in the discussion because there's no quarterback I want to take here. But if Dante Moore was still here, quarterback would be in the discussion, and I'd probably pick Dante Moore. Because I also want to take a quarterback, too. Kevin O'Connell. Man, J.J. McCarthy's just bad. Who are we taking, though? Minnesota. There's a guy that I really want to take off the board, but I can't do it because it's probably Minnesota's best position. I am fully best player available over position, but positional need does matter to a certain extent when there is a similar level of player. All right, let's look at it. I think, do you still believe in Dallas Turner is also the issue?
He's gotten out there this year. Hasn't been the guy, though.
Yeah. The line has been solid. I think you actually do end up going best player available. And it's going to kind of counteract positional need, per se. And it's a little high. But he's that good. Give me Jeremiah Love.
All right.
I have soured a little bit on taking a running back that high, but you know what? It's 14 at this point. I think I'm fine with it. He is that good of a player that I think that he can breach that running backs don't matter because the idea of running backs don't matter, I think, comes from running backs 6 to 8 through 35 are so close they're so much closer, but that top 5 is in a different world. Your Christian McCaffreys, Bijan Robinsons, Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon Barkley last year, not so much this year. Forgetting Jonathan Taylor. Those guys that just bring your offense to another level. I think Jeremiah Love can be one of those guys. Truly transcendent running back who doesn't really have a weakness. There are worst parts of his game, but the worst parts of his game are average, not necessarily weaknesses. He can basically do everything. Just a guy that you're taking, you're I'm just getting my franchise running back for the next 10 years, and Minnesota needs a playmaker like that. That is what's missing from this team. They have Justin Jefferson. They need a guy who can get those yards on the ground. Aaron Jones isn't going to be on the team next year, most likely. He's getting older. Jordan Mason isn't going to. You don't have a running back. You need to build something on the ground to support if you go McCarthy or if it's another guy. You need a running back at this point. And you can always get that in free agency, or you can go out there, you can spend a first-round pick. It's pricey, but you can get a truly, he's not a generational running back, I'd say, but you can get a damn good football player. And I think that's an easy decision to make.
QB is going to be super ambiguous for them headed into next season. You're not going to be confident in whoever you're running out there, but you can be confident in having Jeremiah Love.
Yeah.
Even as a rookie, he is absolutely going to hit the ground running. He's going to hit the ground with home run speed. He's got power. He's got obscene contact balance. He can catch passes. He's not going to fumble often. Just an absolute stud.
All right. What offensive lineman are you taking for Houston?
I am taking Caleb Lomu from Utah, and I know that might surprise some people. Okay, first of all, I should probably talk about the Texans, even if it's a short conversation. I mean, the offensive line is just a non-starter. We knew it was going to be heading into the year, and shockingly, it has been. I don't even really know what to think about C.J. Stroud anymore, because the C.J. Stroud that we've gotten for the past 2 seasons has been erratic, up and down, hasn't looked like what we saw as a rookie. But all that means is we know what C.J. Stroud looks like behind an absolutely terrible offensive line.
Right.
I mean, there's nothing to say that he can't get back to rookie season form. Just get him some pass protection, and we'll see. I'm not going to say that that's absolutely how it's going to be. Maybe he's developed some real scar tissue, and he's going to be a little bit more erratic, and he's just going to be a good quarterback instead of a great one. But I want to find out, because I want an offense that can put up more than 14 points against the Titans. It's not okay anymore. Your offense has got to be able to score 20+. Caleb Lomu is a stellar pass protector. I know some people have play strength concerns on him, and yes, that's probably the biggest hole in his game, but his technique is extremely advanced for a young offensive tackle. It was extremely advanced when we watched him over the summer, and it's only gotten better. He's at a 99% pass blocking efficiency rate, so 1 out of 100 times he's giving up so much as a pressure in Utah's offense. And he's a good run blocker as well. Can he get a little nastier? Sure. Can he get a little bigger and stronger? Sure. He's only started 2 seasons. He's young. He's going to get better. And even if he does have some day one hiccups, he's still probably going to make the Texans' offensive line better. I like this pick. I like taking an offensive tackle early on. And, yeah, anything to build out that Texans offense.
Yeah, it's just so bad. And I think with C.J. Stroud, we forget. I'm old enough to remember the scouting reports surrounding C.J. Stroud coming out of college. Hey, this is a really great quarterback. When he has a good offensive line in front of him, when he's not constantly under pressure. When he's constantly under pressure, he struggles, like 99% of quarterbacks. So I think Stroud is still that guy. It's just he was always going to be one of those guys that you just need a decent – he doesn't even need great receivers. He's that talented of a thrower of the football. He just needs a good offensive line so that he can have the headspace to make that decision. He can have more than a second to make that decision. He can have the time to throw from a clean platform. That's always been a big part of Stroud's game. Off platform, it's fun, but not everybody can do it at an elite level. I'm not saying Stroud can't do it, but he's just more comfortable throwing from a clean pocket, as most guys are. So get him a good offensive line, and I truly believe he'll thrive. So great pick. Also, Lomo's just an incredible pass protector, too. I think a lot of times people will just throw a lineman at the Texans. I don't think run blocking's necessarily their issue. It's pass protection.
Yeah.
It's not great, but it is definitely better than pass protection. I'd much rather have them take a Lomu versus Caden Proctor's not really. He's not really good at either of them.
I will say
he's gotten better.
Yeah, Caden Proctor has really developed throughout the course of the season.
Yes.
Because, oh my God, at the beginning he was unplayable. Now he's playing a lot better.
If you watched Oklahoma, Alabama last night or whenever it was when you're watching this, that was the best game I've ever seen Caden Proctor play. He was lights out all game, made me more confident about taking him sometime soon, I'm guessing. I'm up with Carolina here at number 16. And this is a little bit of a difficult pick because it's got to be defense, but I don't know who here. I'm between 2 guys. Do you want to invest more into the defensive line or do you go into the secondary?
There's no one I'm in. Well,
I don't love anybody in the secondary is the problem.
I shouldn't say that because I've watched fewer cornerbacks than you have. You've gotten eyes on a couple more players than I have. I know that. Who did I have on my watch list that I wasn't quite able to get around to? I didn't see Brandon Sissy, I'm not sure, out of South Carolina. I didn't watch Julian Hill, didn't watch Colton Hood, so I know that there are some options, but defensive line in a pretty strong place right now, I'm thinking as well, on the draft board.
Yeah, but Carolina, I love how Skirton's played so far.
You're right. He really has played well. I think you could go weapon here, honestly.
On offense.
I think so.
Really? I mean, yeah, I get that, and there are a couple of guys oh, my goodness! Oh, my goodness! I forgot he was even here. This is easy. Give me Jordan Tyson at Arizona State.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I forgot he was here. This would have been automatic. See, this is the tough part about using a notebook. You forget that because he's above Carnell Tate on my notebook, so I didn't look above Tate. All right, yeah. No, Jordan Tyson going to Carolina. Now you got Ted McMillan and Jordan Tyson. Oh, that's nasty. Arizona State on one side, on both sides of the ball. Jordan Tyson is my favorite receiver in this class. That might change. It might be Tate by the end of the season. Just first watch, I love Tyson. He's so fun. Incredible athlete. Just the short area burst is otherworldly. The long speed is good. I wouldn't say it's like great or anything, but it's perfectly fine. Such a smooth route runner. I mean, when he gets hit, like that's really my biggest concern with him. A very common thing in this class. There's a lot of these guys where can you play through NFL contact, right? Because you're struggling with college contact, Big 12 contact. So otherwise, I'm fine on him. Just fantastic after the catch. No real catch. He did have a few drops last year, but I think he only has one this year. Real no concerns there. I love him in the as a contested catcher. I just love him. I think he's one of those guys that we were talking about with Carnell Tate, that guy who can line up anywhere. He's athletic enough. He's strong enough. He's smart enough. He's a fantastic route runner where he's just going to be able to do whatever you want. So I don't think that ceiling's as low as it was in previous years. I can't, honestly, I've been looking for a place for him all this time. I thought he was already gone. He's a guy I'd take in the top 10, maybe a guy I'd take in the top 5. So this is an incredible value for Carolina. They need another offensive weapon, like you said. They're good right now. It's just those guys might not be there come certain year. It does sting that you're taking a wide receiver in the first round for the last 3 years. Am I right?
Yeah.
But you need it.
And it's not like you're giving up on T-Mac. T-Mac is a hit.
No, yeah, absolutely. T-Mac is a fantastic receiver. You're drafting Jordan Tyson to be the complement. Like, this can be a... Now, it's extreme comp, but A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith type of situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Jordan Tyson could be better than Smith. I don't know if Tet will ever be as good as A.J. Brown was at his peak. We'll see, but this is kind of the thing where it's like, yeah, Tyson's the best. We think Tyson's the best player on the board. I think he's the best player left. We don't necessarily need another receiver, but we could really use one if we want to get the most out of Bryce. Tyson kind of fulfills that need for a seamless route runner who can just do everything under the sun while Tet does that. I mean, he's also a good route runner who can do a lot of stuff, but that allows Tet to be more of that big bodied X. So that'd be a fun offense to watch in Carolina.
One more call out, unrelated to the mock draft, but related to the Panthers. So when we did our predictions episode 2 weeks ago, we described how incredibly high variance Carolina is. And since that episode, they lost 7-17 to the Saints, and they beat the Falcons, 30-27?
Yeah.
What the fuck,
Who
Victor?
knows,
Why
man?
even try?
I don't know. It's 27 points less than they beat them last time, though. So, again, another point in the high variance column. The same number of points. Damn, there's no better team at scoring 30 points against Atlanta than Carolina.
One of one.
Just truly. But man, I can't believe they get Tyson at 16. That's a great value.
All right, I've got the Kansas City Chiefs picking at 17 right now, and
It'll be lower next week.
yeah, I was gonna say this is gonna climb. Well, it'll be lower next week.
Yeah.
It'll climb, I think, throughout the rest of the year because fortunately you don't have to play the best team in the NFL every week. So right now they're picking middle of the pack at 17. I'm kind of disappointed you took Jeremiah Love because I've been on the Chiefs should draft a running back train since last year with Omarion Hampton. They got a really good value in Josh Simmons, who, when he's been on the field for them, has been really solid thus far.
He's back this week. Looks solid again.
Fell due to injury concerns. He's missed some time with personal matters, and it's been a hit so far. He has looked the part. He's been that day one starter that they were hoping for. So I can't go running back because there's a huge drop-off at running back. I'm looking at defensive line. Chris Jones has been having a down year. You need a guy who can win you one-on-one pass rush reps. So do I go with the chalkier pick, the guy with the better athleticism, or the guy who actually knows how to win? I'm going to go with Cassius Howell.
Ooh.
Out of Texas A&M. He is probably the best pure pass rusher in this class. I think there are guys who have more moves than he does, although there aren't many of them. I don't think they have the traits that Cassius Howell does. Even if he's not the longest, even if he's not the most explosive or the most powerful, he's got enough of everything to beat you in every way. He's been maybe the most efficient pass rusher in the country this year, and that's what we were looking for. That's what we were talking about over summer. You've been really good. Can you take that next step up, and can you show that that is the difference between you and everyone else? That is how good your technique is. That is how good your pass rush plan is. He's done that. His run defense has gotten better as well. This might not be the Chiefs' prototype defensive lineman. I know that, I don't know, they tend to like some heavier-handed types along the defensive line. You need a guy who wins. Cassius Howell wins. I think he's a day one impact, which is huge for a contending team like KC. It was a tough pick. Keldrick Falk is out there. You got other guys out there. He's my favorite of the bunch.
Absolutely. I mean, we both loved Howell coming to the year, a lot higher on him than most people, and he has rewarded us for that belief. He's been incredible this year, and I no doubt he'll get taken in the first round, probably this high, maybe higher, once NFL scouts really get eyes on him, because this guy's talented. He's incredibly talented. Super athletic, like you said, but also, does he have more moves than anybody? No, but the moves that he does have, he beats you with them a lot better than most guys do with any of the vast variety of moves that they have. We've been talking about it all offseason with scouting, with edge rushers. It's not necessarily about the bag of moves you have. If you have 2 or 3 that you hit with consistent just power or dominance or speed, that's all you need. Nick Bonito, one of the best edge rushers in the league right now, really all he does is I'm going to run around you or I'm going to run through you. And it works every time because Nick Bonito is an athletic freak who's also really smart and has great technique. Cassius Howell is both of those. He's going to be a day one impact and can get way better than he is right now as well. Fantastic pick for Kansas City. All right, we're on to San Francisco. Really tough to gauge this team because of how hurt they've been, but also because of how good they've been. Another great win today. By the way, 47 completions, breaking the NFL record for Jacoby Brissett and the Arizona Cardinals.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
That's insane. Jacoby Brissett broke the NFL record for completions today, and they scored 20 points? Niners defense is good.
Hey, I started Michael Wilson in fantasy because my wide receiver room is in hell. He did pay me back for that decision. It was
Nice.
17 for 170 or something.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, but the defense still played well. It's somewhat well, and this is a good team, and it will be better once they get their guys back. So you have the luxury of really going with your best player available. I think the best player available is a defensive lineman. But that's the one position where they're probably best at. I don't know if you need another one of those guys. But I do think they could use Keldrick Falk. He is of that Michael Williams mold. But you can never have too many defensive linemen. Play him inside. They still need inside help. Alfred Collins has been great, but he's more of a nose. Keldrick Falk can play him inside most downs, honestly. He's been that good. He's that strong. He's listed as an edge rusher, but he's 290 and freakishly strong. So Falk, he's going to come in there, be a fantastic athlete, another piece for Robert Saleh, assuming Saleh doesn't get a coaching job, which is not a lock. Right now, he may be a head coach somewhere else after this cycle. But Falk, incredibly heavy-handed, just ridiculous athlete for his size. Kind of a lot of people liked him as much as or more as Ruben Bain over the summer. I always thought Falk was a little bit of a step down from Bain, but still a fantastic player in his own right. Saleh's going to be able to use him well.
All right, next up, I've got the Cleveland Browns. You talked about how their offensive line is okay enough to take Fernando Mendoza. I want to make it a little bit more than okay. They have a lot of players aging out, and so I'm deciding between offensive tackle, where there are some names, but nobody I'm extremely confident in with this pick, and then the interior, which traditionally isn't thought of as valuable, but we also haven't tapped into that group yet. And I'm going to go interior. I am going to go with Vanga Ioane out of Penn State. I did like him over the summer. Didn't get to enough games on him to do a full evaluation and give him a grade. But what I identified is this guy's an obscene size-adjusted athlete because he's huge.
Yep.
He's built like an actual truck, and he is nasty as all hell. He converts all of that strength into power and displacement in the trenches. It was just some issues with falling off blocks, some issues with playing on balance, and that would also surface in pass protection. He has been a brick wall this year. You have not been able to get through him, obviously, or around him. I think you plug that into Cleveland's offensive line, where the coaching, I think, has been pretty solid. You've got veterans around him that can help shore up some of those weaknesses that any offensive line rookie is going to have in year one. and you're going to be able to run the football better, which I think is going to be big for them because you don't want to lean on Fernando Mendoza a ton in year one. You want to make his life as easy as possible. So that's why I'm selecting Vanga Ioane.
No, I mean, he's a fun player to watch because you might actually know the name or know of him because if you follow college football, you probably heard of the lineman that can play receiver. That's Vanga Ioane. You know what? Guess what? He's also a damn good interior offensive lineman. So he's going to be really dominant and really bring that nasty streak that I feel like Cleveland's offensive line is missing right now.
Yeah, and him and Caden Proctor can both play wide receiver. And I thought about Caden Proctor with this pick, but I know you'll probably take him off the board pretty soon.
If Proctor does like a crazy rise, or like Vanga Ioane, take him. Proctor at 19, Vanga Ioane at like 36 or whatever they're picking. If he doesn't go, that would be fun. That would be the meanest offensive line that side of the Mississippi. All right, I'm up with Pittsburgh at 20. If there's one position they really seem to need and not have enough of, it's tight end. So I'm going to go Kenyon Sadiq.
Yeah,
here.
there we go.
We need another tight end
New
in the
skill
building.
set.
Yeah. I mean, they don't really have any. I mean, I guess they have Jonnu Smith, but get rid of Jonnu Smith. Bring in Kenyon Sadiq. He's better than Jonnu Smith. No, we're going to go, actually in a similar vein, though. I'm going to go with Mekhi Lemon, the USC receiver.
Love it. I'm super high on Mekhi Lemon.
Yeah, he's incredible. It feels like every single year we're saying, yeah, Pittsburgh should draft a weapon, a receiver, and then every single year they don't. You just, at some point, you need to invest in wide receiver. They did with George Pickens a while back, and then they traded him. Because Pittsburgh's just not a very well-run offense. Something needs to change there. I think Mekhi Lemon's a different kind of receiver. I think he's a smooth route runner, you know? He's the kind of the opposite of George Pickens and DK Metcalf. The catch radius is very small. He does not have long arms. He is not the highest jumper of all time. But, like we talked, not in the level of Carnell Tate, but if the ball comes within that catch radius, he is not going to drop it. He is going to find some way to catch that ball. Unbelievable catches, week in, week out, contested, and otherwise, like just outstretching those arms to make the catch on a poorly thrown ball, or guy in his face, hand in his face, he's pulling that down. Incredible hands, incredibly smooth route runner over the middle, where outside, wherever he wants, especially over the middle, because I can't see anybody in football take a punch as well as Mekhi Lemon does, man. He'll just get decked and he'll get right back up. I feel like that's what Pittsburgh is missing from the receiving room. Also, just a fantastic playmaker. Going to make stuff happen after the catch. Again, something Pittsburgh needs. Fits really well. Just a reliable receiver. I don't think his athleticism is on the level of a Tyson or even a Tate. Like, it's a step below Tyson or Tate, so I think he falls a little bit because of that. Also, I do think he struggles with physicality a little bit more than them. He's like a half a tier down than those guys. Similar player. Pittsburgh gets him at 20.
I love that fit. I would have taken Mekhi Lemon much earlier than this. The fit just didn't open up. One thing that really impressed me that I didn't expect to see from a player who is more of a route runner, is more of a speedster, finesse is a little bit more his game. Oftentimes you see that guy who's so good at separating naturally and just winning over the top. They don't work super well with their quarterback. They don't sit down in zone super well. I think he does all that stuff. I think he tempos his routes. I think he's dangerous in scramble drill. And this is a plus yak threat. Like,
Cool.
You can draw up touches for him several times a game and just let him go to work. He sees cutback lanes. He makes you miss. Good contact balance for a more slender type of receiver. This is fantastic value.
What if Malachi Corley could catch the football?
It's a great comp. Okay. Malachi Corley is fun. I think that Lemon is better than Malachi Corley.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it was just the first thing that came to mind. Also, one thing I didn't mention with Jordan Tyson, incredible at the scramble drill. Love to point that out whenever I see it. All right, 21, Buffalo. Got a big win today over Tampa Bay.
Ooh, this is Buffalo at 21?
I thought so. Is it not?
No, it isn't. For some reason, I have it written down as the Cowboys. Don't ask why.
Okay.
The PFF Mock Draft Simulator has it correct. Okay, so unfortunately, if you're the Bills, you're still hurting on the defensive line. You invested in Maxwell Harrison in the first round last year, so you could go defensive back. Keon Coleman was a healthy scratch for you, so that's not ideal. You could use wide receiver. For being such a good team, the Bills really do have a lot of needs right now.
Also, because they're not that good of they're a good team, but they're not that good of a team. I don't know they're weird.
How much of the team is just Josh Allen and James Cook doing Josh Allen and James Cook things?
I think so.
Caleb Banks hasn't played much for Florida this year. He's been injured. I did really like the tape from him. I watched him late in the process. We weren't able to get out a defensive tackle episode. But when I was watching Caleb Banks, I didn't really see anything that he didn't do well. I think he's a really solid run defender. I think he plays with a very healthy pad level. Yeah, he might get moved by a double team, but if you just try and base block him, he's going to use good hands to shed and make that tackle in the backfield. And as a pass rusher, he's got some moves. He's got power. I think he's got enough length to win with the bull rush, and then he'll branch off of that with a spin move. Deion Walker's been solid for Buffalo. You've got Ed Oliver. You need a guy who can just defend the run at a steady pace while not being a zero as a pass rusher, and I do think that that is Caleb Banks. I think he is instantly one of their best run defenders along the defensive line. One more thing I want to shout out. Yeah, you need run defense help on the interior. That showed up for them a lot. Oh my God, Greg Rousseau, as a run defender this year, has been just an absolute black hole. But you get Caleb Banks in that system, everything gets better.
Absolutely. I was a little underwhelmed by Banks over the summer. Was not my favorite guy. Was pretty low on my interior defensive line. But I still think that all the tools are there. I just want to see that improve. And the fact that he got hurt is just so sad because, like, I felt like this was going to be the year for him. I didn't want to put him too high, but this is the year to really break out. But we'll see. There's still a lot there, I think, with him. And he will probably get healthy at some point over the year. Florida doesn't have many games left to play, unfortunately, but hopefully he gets healthy over the last 2 games. How many games has he played so far? 4, 3 or 4 or 5.
I don't even know if he's played in that many. Let's
yeah, it
check out
hasn't
the
been
numbers
many
real
because he
quick.
got hurt.
He has played
Been
in
lingering.
just one
Yeah, no.
against LSU.
It was.
He was solid in 29 snaps.
There you go. I hope he's able to come back. And is it I hope he's able to come back because he is a fun player to watch no matter what.
One more thing to add. This isn't an ideal first-round pick, especially in the middle of the first round. I don't think defensive tackle is a great position this year.
No, there's
So,
just not much. Like, I'm looking here and
a little bit getting pushed up the board, but still a healthy value, I think.
yeah. All right, I'm here with Chicago. Offense is looking really good. Looks like Caleb's the guy. How good can he get? You're sticking with him though. It doesn't matter. How good can he get is the question right now. I feel like when we talk about Chicago, it's a lot mentioned. Oh, they have this great supporting cast. I guess. Like,
It's good.
yeah, Adunze has been impressive. He's been good, not great. Moore is a talented wide receiver. I don't know if he's been very good for them this year. Like, he's made the catches, but he's also been responsible for a couple of negative plays, and I don't know how they're clearly not really meshing, and Burden has been solid in the snaps he's gotten. So receiver's not off the table here. There's nobody I love at this position, but receiver's not off the table for Chicago. Line's good. You love that. I think you could just go best defensive player available because they really just kind of need all of it, don't they? Like, it's just not really anything good. Like, linebacker, Edmonds is old and also not fantastic at football. Montez Sweat is there. You know,
The Bears are the only team where I have DEF written down as a need for them.
yeah, exactly. It's just all of it. So pick your poison. I'm picking mine right now. It's a tough pick. I got a few guys about the same level. That'd be nice. All right. I think I'm just going to go out there and take David Bailey. Guy we talked about on the pod a couple of weeks ago, so we won't go too in depth. If you want to see the David Bailey scouting report, it's a couple episodes back, but you can find it pretty easily. We both like him quite a bit. I actually did get around to watching him after that episode. So really fun player to watch. Springy, bendy, fast, quick, can beat you around the edge, developing a bull rush. It's getting to the point where it's not a non-zero whenever he tries it. It's nice. He can survive in run defense, I think. Like, the biggest issue with him was a little small, and can you really survive as a true D end in run defense? And I think he's not a zero in that. He's not going to get dominated in the NFL. Will he be good? No, but I think it'll be enough.
There's just, as far as pass rushing, not a ton to dislike with David Bailey. Like you mentioned, he is adding in the power. He's got enough moves where, because he executes them well, he can be a major thorn in your side. And the way he's been used in college has been sporadic, to say the least. He hasn't gotten a ton of experience. It's just pinning his ears back and getting after the QB, which makes the fact that he's been so good when they have asked him to do that really impressive. That's going to be his role in the NFL. He's not going to be a linebacker. He's not going to be a slot corner, which is how he's been used at times. He's not going to be a coverage dropper. He's going to be an edge rusher, and his job is going to be to improve his technique and make those moves that he has incredibly dynamic. I absolutely think that he can do that.
Absolutely.
All right, at 23, I've got the Dallas Cowboys. And remind me, you took Keldrick Falk for them? No, that was the Niners. Did you take
Tampa
edge?
Bay was 23.
God damn it. All right, well, I didn't even... Okay, I have the Bucks at 24. Now I got to pivot a little bit.
Detroit? Okay. Stand by.
I have no idea where I got this draft board from.
Maybe it's from this actual week.
No, because I did this on Monday. Maybe
Oh.
Maybe it hadn't updated for like Monday Night Football or something. That
Yeah,
could
because
definitely be.
didn't Tampa? No, they didn't. Who knows?
All right, Tampa Bay. This is a spot where I think you can draft a linebacker. And this is a
100%.
really good linebacker class, and I think I'm going to take advantage of that. The question is, do I want Anthony Hill or do I want C.J. Allen? I'm going to take Anthony Hill out of Texas. Really outstanding run defender. Obscene size-adjusted strength. He will shed blocks. If he gets an arm anywhere on your body, he's going to get you to the ground. So a really good tackler as well. I think he's solid in coverage. I don't think he's exceptional, but you're coming over the middle, he's going to zone jam you. He's able to get his head around a good percentage of the time and carry guys upfield, even if that's not the best aspect of his game. Servassier Dennis has really struggled primarily in pass coverage this year. You get him more in a run defense role, learns under Levante David. Anthony Hill is going to be doing great stuff for you real quick.
100%. Very high on my preseason board. Just hasn't taken all the steps he wanted. Kind of looks about the same player. So coming down a little bit, but the athleticism's still all there. The fire, the blitzing package that he has that you can use him in, the pass rush moves, the strength, like you said, it's all there. All the tools to be an elite run defender, to be an elite blitzer from the linebacker position are there. It's just about, can you develop the coverage? And if you can, if Texas by some miracle makes the college football playoff and he strings together a couple of good coverage games on some of the better pass catchers in the nation, then he could really be rising up boards quick. All right, we're into Detroit next. They're actually playing right now. It should be about the end of that game. Let's check in on that score real quick.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
You guys know what happened. He wants Jahmyr Gibbs to score a lot of fantasy points. And it does not seem like they have, because it is 16-6 in favor of Philly. And Jahmyr Gibbs has 11 carries for 28 yards.
Nice.
5 catches for 107, though.
Oh, let's go.
Oh, baby. Whoa.
Still going to lose, but it's going to look better.
I mean, yeah, but he's got, like, is it a PPR?
Yes.
All
Yes,
right,
it
so
is.
he's got, according to our math department, he's got 18.5 fantasy points.
We'll take that. Not too bad.
You'll take that. All right.
Is that game over? Final score?
No, there's 10 minutes left in the fourth.
Okay.
Let's see. What's the ball? 10 minutes left in the fourth. Jahmyr Gibbs just had an 11-yard run near into midfield. So we'll
Punch
see how
one in
that
the
ends
end
up.
zone. So that one's not over yet. Detroit
Nope,
got
it's
the
not.
ball.
Detroit down 10 with the ball. 10 minutes to go. You guys know how it finished, I'm sure. Detroit, another good roster here. I mean, we're getting to that portion of the mock where it's nice. I can kind of just take who I like. It's very cool. I do think there is a market for interior offensive line here. Remind me of who's the center right now for Detroit.
Oh, man. Okay, so you got Tate Ratledge. Is Christian Mahogany healthy? He's playing guard for them. I think Miles Frazier has played a little bit.
Yeah, I know it's been a revolving door. I just forget who is starting this week.
Pulling up the depth chart, making this official. According to our lads, it is, Graham Glasgow.
Graham Glasgow.
And Keio Awosika has played for them as well. I've noticed him. He's out there playing and not being the worst starting guard in the NFL.
So no longer-term answers there. I think I'm going to go a little bit high for my taste. I'm going to go with Connor Liu.
Okay.
A guy who I just feel like they can use his commanding presence, you know? Very smart, probably one of the smartest interior line prospects you'll watch out of Auburn. Just as a sophomore, was checking stuff. I mean, he was checking into different protections. He was letting the quarterback know. He was calling out blitzers, and most of the time he was right. He was just a true leader of men on that offensive line. And then you get to actually watching the tape, and man, the pass protection tape is just solid. Like, he is just dropping back and very consistent. The hands are there. He's a great athlete. He's like 300 pounds, so he's not physically imposing or anything. He will get beat. You can get through his chest. He's not going to drive guys backwards. But the great part about going to Detroit is you got a lot of guys who will drive guys backwards next to you. You don't need to be this massive imposing force in the run game. You can just be a part of a combo block with Tate Radledge. You know, you can drive a guy backwards because he does have a lot of strength. It's just as a single base blocker, he might not be the best in the league. So you put him next to Tate Radledge, watch him work, and just get good, consistent play from your center again. I think this is a perfectly fine pick, and it's a pick I could see Detroit making. A pick at a slightly less value position in center, higher than some would deem appropriate, is a very Detroit pick. But Connors is a damn good player, and if he goes to Detroit, he'll be good in the league.
Stopping that Detroit Lions running attack is obviously a very difficult thing to do. It's been achievable this year. Obviously not easy. Jahmyr Gibbs has had his games where he is just gashing bad defenses. David Montgomery has had some nice games as well, but they've been stoppable.
I mean, it appears Philly's doing that today.
I think that deflates some of the fear factor away from this Detroit Lions team. If they can consistently run the ball down your throat every single snap, good luck when they get into play action, when they get into the design touches for Jameson Williams, etc. Isaac Tesla's look dynamic. You open things up a little bit, draft interior offensive linemen, everything gets easier, and that is Detroit getting right back to how they want to win football games.
Absolutely. All right, now it's Dallas.
Okay, so the two positions I'm looking at are just, I guess, defensive backfield as a whole. That's really two positions in its own right. And then offensive tackle, because how many years does Terrence Steele still have left on his contract?
1 million. He's going to be Cowboy till he dies.
I was going to say that's how it feels, and he will be a really bad pass protector until he dies. So I don't care about
Not
the
worse
contract.
than the left tackle.
Yeah, that's just it. I mean, you're not giving up on Tyler Guyton, but it's been.
Why don't you give up on Tyler Guyton?
You
It's
might-
been 2 years of bad play.
You might be
could.
giving up on Tyler Guyton. I'm going to draft Isaiah World out of Oregon. His tape at Nevada before he transferred to Oregon was a little dicier than I was expecting for a guy who had huge preseason expectations. He has really met them. I liked Isaiah World. I didn't love him, and I've been wrong about that. Not only has he been a really good pass protector and obviously a really challenging conference now that he's playing in the Big Ten versus playing for Nevada, he's cut down on the penalties significantly, which was the number one thing that he had to do. I mean, he had penalties that were just straight up bad. I mean, yeah, occasionally he gets beat, he drags the guy to the ground, whatever, you live with that. There are good offensive tackles that do that a lot. Laramie Tunsil, Garrett Bowles, Deion Dawkins, etc. Just dragging guys to the ground that you don't need to, hooking guys around the neck and putting them down that way in the run game. Foolish mistakes. He's cleaned that up with experience. And as long as he keeps that up, he is a pretty nasty run blocker. He's a very technically refined pass protector with length and foot speed. It's going to fill a big need for the Dallas Cowboys and make that offense that much stronger.
100%. I mean, Dak just needs time around the edge, and he's just not getting it right now. And Dak is going to be the quarterback for Dallas for a few more years at the least until he starts to regress. He's a franchise quarterback, whether some people believe it or not. He's having a good season, even though it's gotten a little bit worse in recent weeks. Nothing you can really do about that. Things happen. They're just on a downward trajectory. I'm not blaming Dak. He needs a new tackle. Isaiah World's a good player. All right, on to Los Angeles with the 26th pick in the draft. And, man, if there's one thing they need, like, that defense was good last year. So they were like, we don't need more talent. It was good. They don't have enough talent to be good. Minter is a fantastic defensive play caller, but at some point you just need a lot of talent on that defense. And you need athleticism. And you need athleticism from a pass rusher. I'm going with R. Mason Thomas out of Oklahoma.
Okay.
It's a little early, but man, oh man, is he athletic. And Jesus Christ, do the Chargers need a pass rusher with any semblance of get off. Like Tuli Tuipulotu is it. That's it. That's the only thing that they have right now. And R. Mason Thomas, for whatever deficiencies he may have, he is bringing the juice to that pass rush move. There's nobody that can boast a better get off, maybe on the same level of him, but nobody boasts a better get off than R. Mason Thomas. The speed move is still lethal. I mean, he was only there for one half against Auburn, and he dominated that half. He has dominated almost every game he's played in. The few times he's been able to get stopped, it's just like he's a high variance player. He's going to get stopped sometimes, but because he's a high variance player, he's going to get big time plays sometimes as well. And it feels like that's what's missing from Los Angeles' defense this year. They can do the little stuff well, I feel like, but they just don't have that explosive play. It's not just something you need on offense. You need the plays to go from a 2nd and 9 to a 3rd and 17. You know what I mean? Is he going to be the best in run defense? No, but I feel like you have a lot of guys who can defend the run. This is a guy you're taking to be a pass rusher. If you get any run defense out of him, great. It's just a plus. You know he's going to be good around the edge.
All right, next up, I've got the Rams.
Second pick?
Yep, you went quarterback for them first. And you mentioned that you take a quarterback early, and then you maybe draft for need a little bit more late. The problem is the Rams don't really have any needs because they're getting close to being Super Bowl favorites at this point, surely. So you're really taking best player available. The whole board is open to you. And there's a receiver who's calling out a little bit. But I will ask, did you watch Colton Hood or Julian Hill and really like them?
I watched Colton Hood. I do think he's a guy that you can take here. I really do. Let me pull up my my thoughts on him. They're not on the dock. Very strange. Tall, from what I remember. Not necessarily tall. He's pretty decently sized. Can play the ball real well. Just a solid coverage defender. Pretty good athlete. Like, just a guy that's going to stick well, but I just want to see more tape from him, a little bit more experience. I don't know if I'd take him here.
I think that length is actually pretty underrated for cornerbacks as long as you can
Also,
get that head around.
I really don't know if he's that long. I think I'm confusing him with someone else. Let me look up his height weight real quick. Maybe
Okay.
he's 6'1", 195. He's relatively long.
I think I know where I'm going to go here. And some people might think that this is kind of dumb because currently the Rams have an absolute embarrassment of riches at this position. I'm going to grab Denzel Boston out of Washington. I do think that he's a pretty clear tier down from Lemon and Tyson and Carnell Tate. I think he has more questions to answer as far as nuance in his routes. I think that he's not an outstanding athlete. I think he's good enough. I would say his separation capacity is superior to, say, a Keon Coleman, where we've seen that really come back and bite the player. I think he can get open enough, and he is a really impressive ball winner. Not like T-Mac was last year. He's not elite of the elite in that category, but his hands are still really nice. He's just violent in everything that he does. He's violent off the line. He's a violent run blocker. When he's making his break, he's going to stair step you, and he's going to buy 2 yards of separation that way. And as long as you put it on him on time, he's going to grab the ball, and then he is going to be a menace for the safety to bring down. I think there's a ton to like with Denzel Boston. You're not going to have Devontae Adams forever. Devontae Adams has been stellar for them this season, doing things I don't think we expected, being a red zone winner, being a guy who can win with his release, and then you can throw him a fade, and that's how we're going to convert for a touchdown. Maybe Denzel Boston can learn a little bit of that, and he can be a fade threat with his high points ability, and he'll go along with Puka Nacua, and that'll be a dynamic offense moving forward since now they also have Dante Moore, so doesn't help with that doesn't hurt with that aspect either.
Yeah. So you ask anybody, hey, you know what? Well, who has the best quarterback receiver combo in the league? A lot of guys are going to say Los Angeles. So what does Los Angeles do? They take a quarterback and they take a receiver.
There you go.
But it makes perfect sense, and this is really just thinking about the future while you have a good team, that this would be a good piece of managing. And I love Boston. Like, he may not be the best athlete, but also he's kind of underrated in that aspect. I really like him when it comes to like short area stuff, which is different from a lot of those bigger guys. It's usually when they get going, they can be fast, but he's really fluid in those short cuts. You're running a slant route, you're running a dig route, where those short areas you need to make a quick cut in order to have that second flash the hands and then it's gone. You need to make that second last a little bit longer for the quarterback. Denzel Boston's really good at that. So I love the pick there. Heir apparent to Devontae Adams there. All right, I'm up with New England at 28. And, man, New England's – I don't think anybody expected New England to be picking here.
It's insane.
Like, I think we were both a little bit higher on them. We were talking about them as a potential wild card team coming into the year, a team that we both liked. But, man, they have surpassed all expectations. Mike Vrabel, obviously a fantastic head coach, no doubt about that. Drake May. I mean, I'm just done. He's like a top 7 quarterback right now.
Yeah, I think he's in that category. Like, top 8 at absolute worst.
Yeah.
He's proved it, I'd say.
He's with, like, you're going to talk about top 7 for me. I think it's pretty clear right now, it's going to be Mahomes, not in no order. Mahomes, Allen, Herbert, Burrow, Lamar, Stafford, Drake May. Am I missing anybody?
Not anybody obvious. I think that's totally fair play.
Yeah. Also, and to be clear, that was in no particular order, because if it was in an order, Lamar would be higher.
Forgot Malik Willis, but outside of that.
Of course. Well, Malik Willis, he's in a secret 0th tier. All right. But New England, you now have a great quarterback. Nothing you need to worry about. You were playing really well. One thing that teams forget to do when they're playing really well and they have a great quarterback is invest in big-time positions, because, well, we have this, we have this, this great team. We can invest in these stupid little positions to make things better. No, pick good players at big-time positions. They already have a good player at this position. They need another one. Avion Terrell at Clemson. Avion Terrell, fantastic zone corner. One of the best guys when it comes to off coverage in this class. Just backpedaling, smooth backpedal, gets out of his break really quickly, sees stuff very well. I do have concerns in press coverage. I do have concerns at the line of scrimmage. He will have to learn how to do that in New England. I do think he'll be able to do that. He also doesn't have to be that guy to go against the number one receiver when it comes to, you don't have to put him on Devontae Adams when he's running a release package. You can put him on Puka Nacua. Now, that's a tough task, but I think it's one he's a little bit more fit to handle because you've got one of the best corners in the league in Christian Gonzalez on the other side of him. Avion Terrell really gives them a nice little backup plan at corner, because you can also move him inside, right? This is a guy who, now that's, to be clear, he needs to improve the run defense if you're going to move him inside. I don't think it's bad, but it needs to be better. It's solid, right? You need to improve that, because you've also got Carlton Davis. But at this point, Carlton Davis, a little bit inconsistent with health and with skill, doesn't stop you from drafting Terrell. You need more depth at that position.
I do think that zone is the name of the game for him. He reminds me of Jahdae Barron a little bit coming out. I don't think he has the most fluid hips. I don't think he's the best athlete, but he's got good ball skills. He's going to make his presence felt in the run game. It feels like every time he had a chance to get in there in the pile, push somebody down, he's going to do that. He's got inside-outside flexibility.
No lack of effort.
Ball hawk from zone. I like it.
100%. Instant impact for a team that is contending now. All right, on to Philly. Playing right now.
Update?
Let's
Actually,
see.
yeah. What do we got?
So 6 minutes left, and Detroit got the ball again. I guess they did not do anything with their drive. Now 5 minutes left. Looks like Philly's going to win this one.
Let's see how many fourth downs the Lions have failed to convert on. Over, under 2.5?
Under.
Okay. I'll take the over then. Customary.
Of course.
My play-by-play is a black screen because of course it is. Of course the stats load in and the play-by-play does not. Now I'm in too deep, and so I'm going to turn my mobile data on and off and reload this because now I'm committed, and still nothing doing because obviously. Look at this.
Oh, boy.
Look at this, people. Oh, all right.
Worked.
All right, that worked.
I was going to say, why are you showing me a working screen?
Goff got picked off once. 1 turnover on downs, 2 turnover on downs, 3, 4, 5.
What?
5 turnovers on downs.
Jeez, that's the
unbelievable.
That's the high variance Detroit Lions, man. That's
Holy crap,
crazy.
Man. That's got to be close to some sort of record. That's wild.
Oh, I'm excited to dive into the tape then. Oh my God, this is gonna be a game and a half.
They were all like 5 play turnover on downs as well. So I like to imagine that the teams are just bouncing the ball around at midfield for like the equivalent of 3 quarters of football in the middle there. It just doesn't move. All right, now I've got the Philadelphia Eagles. I want to go offensive line here. I want to build out that pipeline. When the Eagles have been dominant, because they've been good this year, I don't think they've been dominant. It has been because they just punish you up front, down in, down out. I think they've lost a little bit of that this season. The question is, who do I want to pick? I think I want a little bit more of a mauler.
I know a guy. Plays a little bit south of Philadelphia.
Oh.
When the moon changes, something happens to him. You could say he starts rolling.
Why am I not understanding who this is? I know I'm tired.
Roll Tide, baby.
Yeah, why am I not thinking of who the Bama interior offensive lineman here
I'm not
is?
thinking of an interior offensive
Oh,
lineman.
Caden Proctor hasn't
Yeah.
been picked? Oh, I took him off my board. I thought he was gone. Yeah,
Maybe
I'll
he has
take
been
Caden
picked. Am I
Proctor.
an idiot? Did he get picked? No, he
No,
didn't.
no, I think I just assumed that he did. Yeah, I will 110% grab Caden Proctor here. This is a really good value. The start of his season was rough. He was getting beat in pass protection because he does have some foot speed limitations, even if he is an awesome athlete for his size. I want to make that clear. He's also a guy that, at least at the beginning of the year, you can get under his pads. You can move him, even though he's really big. But I think he's got good instincts. I think that down the stretch, he's dialed in the technique. And yeah, as a run blocker, when he's able to get low and get leverage, he will pry you all the way off the ball. They have great coaching in Philadelphia. They are going to get the most out of Caden Proctor. I hate that we made another classic Howie Roseman pick here because maybe people think he sucks because they saw him losing at the beginning of the year. This is great value for Caden Proctor. I think this is
Absolutely.
outstanding.
Yeah. What if you could get Jordan Mailata on the right side of the line as well? Because unfortunately, Lane Johnson is starting to regress. He's still a great player, but he's not the same guy. It is possible to beat him now. Like, I don't think I'll ever forget watching Lane Johnson in his prime. Him being one of the first offensive tackles I really did a film breakdown on. I'm like, is this even legal to be this good? Like, man, that's incredible. But you do have to think post Lane Johnson. It doesn't look like it'll be too many years before that happens. And Proctor, this is a team that loves their big offensive tackles. And who better to learn under than Jordan Mailata, a guy who's accomplished turning that massive size. And you know what? Sometimes the foot speed's tough. He's learned to dance and to make it happen in pass protection. I'd love to see Proctor in that position.
Now it's your squad.
Yep, Denver Broncos are up, and man, they need a receiver. But, oh, geez, there's just not anybody I love here. You know, there's not anybody I absolutely love enough to forego taking another position of need, which is linebacker. I'm going to go C.J. Allen out of Georgia. It's like the only thing on defense that they haven't filled is the second linebacker. Otherwise, the Broncos defense is like the stuff of nightmares. If you watch the Chiefs game today, holy shit. Like, and yeah, Riley Moss, oh boy, couple of bad plays, but other than that, he's still a good corner. He's underrated. He's not just absolutely terrible. It's just he has really bad pass interference calls sometimes. He needs to clean that up, but I don't think you're replacing him. Plus, you have Jahdae Barron, you have Chris Abrams-Strain, you have a wealth of talent at corner and defensive back. You don't have a linebacker number 2. Dre Greenlaw's been fantastic when he's been played this year, but you still need a second guy. And C.J. Allen, man, he is incredible. And this pick, if it does work out and you keep Dre Greenlaw long term, this allows Dre Greenlaw to play more of like a will role, a role that he's always been more comfortable in. Not saying he can't play Mike, but C.J. Allen is a true Mike. He is that guy that is going to call the plays for the defense. He's the guy that is going to lead the team. He's the guy that is going to come downfield, make the tackles, drop into coverage, do whatever you need him to do. Play from that position, and that will allow Dre Greenlaw to go out there and make plays on the perimeter, to do the things that he does best, because he's a better athlete than C.J. Allen. Allen is a very good athlete, but Greenlaw is a fantastic athlete. Allen is going to come in there, be a seamless fit. He's a pro-ready player for a team that will be competing for a Super Bowl, assuming Bo Nix doesn't. We'll see how they play in the playoffs this year. We don't know how. I'm still a little bit. I don't know about the Broncos, the Super Bowl contenders, a team that will want to win games. C.J. Allen will help them immediately.
I like that you call C.J. Allen pro-ready. I think a lot of people aren't understanding how good this year's linebacker class is. I
mean, that's 4.
Yeah, but 3, 4, 5 linebackers from this class, I think are future, like, top 16-ish starters.
Yep.
That is how much faith I have in this class. I think that it's not going to revolutionize the linebacker position, but it's going to usher in a new crop of linebackers that are going to be permeating the top 10 for a long time to come. Allen is that instant impact. Like you said, he's a fantastic tackler. And putting that beside Dre Greenlaw in that Denver defense.
Yeah.
Dude, that's not even fair.
I can't even believe I didn't mention C.J. Allen's one of the best tacklers you'll ever see come into college. What is the one thing Denver has struggled with from the linebacker position? They can't fucking make tackles.
Justin Strnad getting burnt man coverage.
It's been more Alex Singleton, which, by the way, shout out to Alex Singleton. Last year he played through a torn ACL. This year playing through cancer. Like, that guy's an absolute warrior. I love that guy. All the best wishes to him. But C.J. Allen's going to come in. He's not going to miss a tackle. And that's just going to make this defense even better, which, if you watch him, it's tough to imagine.
All right, with the second to last pick, I've got the Seattle Seahawks. This offense has been stellar this year. That has been in spite of the interior offensive line, not because of it. The tackles have really stepped up, but I think you need some help on the interior. I'm between two guys. I'm between Emmanuel Pragnon, who is playing a lot better this
Yeah.
season, and he was already really good.
Made a very, very good jump for a 6-year senior.
Yeah, really surprising. He's played at least 3 different schools now, maybe 4. So he's clearly picked up a lot and has put that experience to good use. He would go in the second round, I think, of this mock draft.
Did you watch him? Did you watch more tape of him? Have you seen more of him?
Yeah, I did watch one additional game on him.
Has the get off improved?
I did not notice the coming out of his stance really late,
Okay.
which I think I watched 3 games on him initially, and there was one game where I didn't really see it, and there
Yeah.
were 2 where it was like, what am I watching? Like, what is this a coaching point? Like, why is he still in his stance when everybody else is on the 3rd step of their kick set? So that was strange. Maybe I just watched the good Emmanuel Pragnon game, and he still has that issue, but I mean, he's been so good in pass protection, you would think that, yeah, he's cleaned it up because guys aren't just able to run around him, which was a lot of his losses last year. I'm going to go with his teammate, Iapani Laloulu, because even though Pragnon has progressed a decent amount, Laloulu, I think, has gotten even better, and he is still flying under the radar. This is just an excellent size-adjusted athlete at the center position. He is very powerful. He is compact. He gets under your pads. He was already a good pass protector. This year he's been borderline lights out, a big part of Oregon's offensive success this year. And what is that, the second interior offensive lineman? Happy to make him my
that's
number
the
2.
third.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, Laloulu is a fantastic player. Pragnon, though, we talked about him over the summer. You guys should, if after this episode, go and watch the cold open of the interior offensive line episode. Maybe my favorite clip that we did all summer, where
So bad.
we had concerns about Pragnon, like he's just getting off the snap about a second late some snaps. So Elson had a very interesting suggestion on what we should do to determine if that was a coaching point or just a lack of athleticism. And it's my favorite clip I think we've ever produced from the pod. So, yeah, go watch that.
Don't throw frisbees at people who don't consent.
Don't do it. But I think
This is not advice.
But Pragnon knows that would increase his draft stock. That would increase his draft stock. So it's worth it. All right, last pick of the draft. It has been a journey getting here. Thank you all for sticking with us. It's New York. We did not consider quarterback for them at 5. You picked Carnell Tate out of Ohio State for them. Justin Fields clearly isn't the answer.
Wait. Oh, yeah, other New York Jets.
Yes, this is the New York Jets. Apologies. So Carnell Tate went earlier. Justin Fields clearly not the answer at quarterback. You need something else. And at this point, this is the range where I'd start to be okay with 2 quarterbacks on my board. And I do think that this is a good position to be in if you're a quarterback going into New York. You'll have Garrett Wilson and Carnell Tate to throw to. Pretty solid offensive line when healthy. Breece Hall, theoretically. This is just a really bad team, but they just shouldn't be as bad as they are. So theoretically, it's a good position. I am going to take a quarterback here. I'm going to take the one that I think is a little bit more pro-ready, and that's Ty Simpson out of Alabama to end the draft. I don't love him as much as most guys do. I don't really see that like number 1 overall picks because it seems like he's getting mocked in the top 10 quite a bit. I don't really see that with him as much, but I do still see a lot with him as far as NFL. I think he's a guy that returns to college for a senior year. Just don't have as much tape on him. It's clear he's not super pro ready yet. He's just a little bit nervous. He's more pro ready than the other guy I was talking about, which is Lenora Sellers. But Simpson has flashes of those NFL moments where he steps up into the pocket, delivers a seed over the middle into a layered ball, into tight coverage, and he makes it work. When he was playing Oklahoma, just some absolute lasers, and he's incredibly poised under pressure, but there were also the bad plays where he just so many inaccurate throws against Oklahoma. And this is a guy who's being billed as an incredibly accurate passer. I just don't think it's that consistent yet. The arm is good, not great. I think there's a lot to like about him, but let's pump the brakes a little bit. But if New York gets the chance at 32, I don't think this is a bad pick at all. He comes in with a good offensive line. He's able to stay poised behind them. If he can improve the accuracy, he can be a really good NFL quarterback. He's shown a lot of that stuff, the progression, seeing the field, and really just, I get why people say he's an incredibly accurate quarterback because the flashes are all there. There's no quarterback that's better at throwing a layered ball right now than him. There's no quarterback that's better at throwing the back shoulder to the sideline throw right now. He's made some incredible red zone passes. I think Simpson is going to be a great quarterback prospect. I just think it's going to be next year rather than this year.
I think my favorite thing about Ty Simpson is his anticipation. Even though he hasn't played much ball, you can tell that he just kind of gets it. I'm impressed by his coverage answers. It's just about cleaning it up. I mean, he's one of these guys where you know he understands it on a play-to-play basis, but he just makes a couple mistakes a game.
Yep.
You got to weed those out. I'm not going to lie. I do think part of that is the arm strength. I think I'm lower on his arm strength than you are, but I do think that he's good enough to be an NFL starter, maybe even a top half one. And like you said, not pro ready. In comparison to Lenore Sellers and, the other more upside-based swings, he is the most pro-ready quarterback available at this spot. I think he's good on the move. He's a solid athlete. There's a lot to buy into there. And even though he's, either a fourth or a fifth-year player, hasn't started a ton of ball, he's hopefully going to progress quickly.
Also, to make it clear, Lenore Sellers hasn't been that bad this year.
No, he's not trash.
Like, the team being as bad as it is, I don't think is a reflection so much on Sellers. Now, the game against A&M yesterday was brutal. It was awful. No doubt about that. But other than that, I think he's been better than the stat line and the team would suggest. He's and also plus the physical tools are undeniable. If Los Angeles didn't pick a quarterback at 10, I might have picked him at 27 for them. Maybe. That's the earliest I would think about it.
I've got Sellers above Ty Simpson.
Really?
Actually, yeah.
I mean, I have them similar categories, but this is where I start thinking about Simpson as well.
I've got the Shadur Sanders grade on Ty Simpson, second to a third. I just think his upside is really limited, but
Fair.
quarterback arm strength is a very fickle thing that really depends on the game you watch because it's not just how far down the field can you throw the ball. It's not just how much pop does it look like it has out of your hand, how fast is it getting from point A to point B. It's a super nuanced thing with when you hit the sidelines, can you keep the ball up? Is the ball arriving nose up or nose down? It takes a lot of time to figure out. So I might wind up higher on his arm talent than I am right now as we get closer to draft season and as we watch more All-22 on these guys.
Yeah, and it seems like there's never really consensus. Like Bo Nix coming out of college is a really great example. When I watched him, I was like, yeah, this guy's got a good arm. I mean, good, probably not great, but yeah, he's got a real good arm. And then I see people who's like, yeah, this is a below average arm. It's really subjective. And I think watching Bo Nix now, everybody can agree he's got a really good arm, like a really good arm talent. It's just some people didn't see it. It's about the games. It's about the throws. It is a very tough thing to evaluate. There's a reason that quarterbacks don't hit very often because it's a very difficult position to evaluate.
All the starting quarterbacks in the NFL are just in this one big circle of arm strength. Like, it's all the same. And then you got Dylan Gabriel.
Don't forget Shadur Sanders. It's full of the Browns quarterbacks.
Oh, Cleveland. Oh, I would still be a Cleveland fan.
Yeah, I should have given them Ty Simpson. It would have been more lower accurate.
If there are any Cleveland fans out there still watching this, I do genuinely respect you. I mean, the ability to stick by your squad after they just punch you in the heart over and over again, I think that does say a lot about you as a person.
It's brutal, but you get Fernando Mendoza and Venga Ioane to save the franchise.
There we go. And hey, the rookies do look good for the most part. Carson Schlesinger. God, I can never say that on my first chance. Schlesinger.
Schlesinger?
I don't know which one it is for sure. I
one
think
of
it's
the two.
Schlesinger, but we're going to find this out for sure.
Schlesinger.
Mason Graham doing his thing. Harold Fannin looking good. A lot to be excited about. They're moving forward. Just got to break the QB curse. And Judkins. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Are we ready?
Let's do it.
Wait, what are we doing? Oh.
Getting out of here? I thought we were going to get out of here.
We are going to get out of here.
Do we have anything else?
I would offer to...
Oh, let's run it back. You're right.
Yeah, you're going to have to do that because...
No worries.
I'm not even freaking close, man.
All right. Let's run it back, and then we'll get out of here. Number 1, Titans took Reuben Bain Jr. Number 2, the Saints took Arvell Reese Jr. out of Ohio State. Number 3, the Giants took Spencer Fano out of Utah. Number 4, the Cleveland Browns took Fernando Mendoza out of Indiana. 5, the Jets took Carnell Tate out of Ohio State. Number 6, the Raiders took Mansour Delane out of LSU. At number 7, the Miami Dolphins took Francis Mauigoa at Miami. 8, Washington took Caleb Downs out of Ohio State. 9, the Cincinnati Bengals took Jermon McCoy out of Tennessee. Number 10, the Rams took Dante Moore out of Oregon. Number 11, Arizona took the linebacker Sonny Styles out of Ohio State. Number 12, Dallas took T.J. Parker out of Clemson. Number 13, Baltimore took Peter Woods out of Clemson. 14, Minnesota took the running back Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame. 15, Caleb Lomu out of Utah goes to the Texans. Number 16, Carolina Panthers get Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State. Number 17, the Kansas City Chiefs get Cassius Howell out of A&M. 18, Keldrick Falk out of Auburn to the San Francisco 49ers. Benga Iwani out of Penn State goes to Cleveland. Makai Lemon out of USC goes to Pittsburgh at number 20. Number 21, Buffalo gets Caleb Banks out of Florida. Number 22, Chicago gets David Bailey out of Texas Tech. Number 23, Anthony Hill Jr. out of Texas goes to Tampa Bay. Connor Lew of Auburn goes to Detroit at 24. Isaiah World out of Oregon goes to Dallas at 25. R. Mason Thomas out of Oklahoma goes to the Chargers at 26. The Rams, with their second first-round pick, get Denzel Boston out of Washington. The number 28 pick is Avion Terrell out of Clemson going to the Patriots. Number 29 is the Eagles, taking Caden Proctor out of Alabama. Denver takes C.J. Allen out of Georgia at 30. Seattle takes Iapani Laluulu out of Oregon at 31. And at 32, the New York Jets select quarterback Ty Simpson out of Alabama.
And that is the inaugural Balls Talk Sports 2026 NFL Mock Draft. We've got so much more to come down the road. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, stay hard.